This is a production of Darn TV.
Good. Whee!
Welcome, Dirt Weekly.
Hello.
Wednesday night at 7-ish, 7:06-ish.
Yeah, that's on the plus or minus one error
We're there. I'd call it there.
percent.
I beat Jordan here.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. We're short. We're short one. We got the dude in its place. The dude met Justin Medler, not able to join us tonight. Had some pressing stuff he had to do down at the racetrack. But the show must go on.
Yeah. It won't be easy.
I mean, what are you going to do? The weather's horrible outside. Why not sit inside and watch and listen to us?
Yeah. No kidding.
Exactly.
Grass getting a little
Speaking
shaggy
of
in
weather,
the backyard.
what a heck of a weekend of weather we just had. This previous weekend, I know it was a little warm, the sun was shining, all that stuff, but can you ask for anything more when it comes to weather than we got?
No, I loved it. The bugs aren't out yet. It's not humid and heavy yet.
Had a
good.
busy weekend. We're going to get going with the rundown. Specializing in high performance parts and chassis repair, call Ryan Sebo at Sebo Motorsports, 701-720-3889. He's patching up Max's bumper as we speak.
Yeah, I was going to say, has anybody did any stop-ins, check-ins? But Max Man's in there getting a...
Max will personally keep Ryan busy.
Yeah. Well, on my way in, it looked like it must have been the front bumper.
Yep, it was the front bumper.
Yeah. Brake pedal break there, Max? What do we got going on?
He's showing speed.
He is showing
He
speed.
was flirting with the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have in-studio Max is sitting right over here. So
Not producing.
no, we can't talk too much grief about him. He'll go unhook our camera. But no, it was a busy weekend. Fun weekend.
I'm being careful on what I input and what I say because I know we have a strict schedule to follow, and I don't want to go off on a tangent too far.
Man,
I sent out we have the driver chat. We're gonna have 3 drivers join us tonight. One of them is a sport mod driver, one's a hobby stock driver, and the other one's a sprint car driver. Well, in the group chat, did you give you people at home watching? We're already getting viewers here. I sent out. Small said, are we having a show tonight? I said, well, I planned on it. We planned on it last week, so I kind of been planning on it this week. I said, who do we want to talk to? And you guys threw out some suggestions, and I started calling and texting, and I came up with an itinerary of 7:30, 7:45, and 8 o'clock. And I said, can you boys help me keep...
Day of show.
Yeah, day of show.
So put on notice to every other driver that you may get a call.
Yeah. Man, we're measuring with micrometers now, not tape measures, so let's start paying attention here. So,
Well, just every one of them that I talked to, I said it was going to be ish. We're going to talk to you at 7:30-ish, 7:45-ish.
Oh,
Well,
look, it's 10 o'clock, the third guy.
Well,
Not that bad.
You called
That'd be
on
past-ish.
Jason Walla last week,
Well, that's because he called small.
but
Yeah.
impromptu. And what did that translate to? The main victory.
Oh.
So, hey, maybe there's something.
Yeah.
Don't eat chicken. Don't wear
Yeah.
yellow. What are those things?
I want to take off my headset and call in. I need a lot of help. A lot.
Go out to the garage and call from the
Yeah.
garage.
Hey, doing all I can. How are you guys?
I'm actually sending one of the
Maybe we
drivers.
just got to talk to you the way Smalls talked to Jason.
Yeah.
He couldn't have left feeling real good.
Man, the insults are deep, but the finishers are real.
It's funny
I'm
though.
tough enough. I can take it. Call me names.
I talked
need
to
everything.
Jason down in Mandan. I was down there and I was visiting with the Bielas, and then Jason walked over. They were kind of parked next to one another, and we were laughing so hard about just life or just the show and Smalls and him, and it was a fun exchange.
I think Smalls has a way of being able to get away with that. Because, if I said that to Walla, would it be as well received, or would I be picking, Rage Chassis out of my teeth for a month?
Well, if you know Smalls, you expect it from Smalls, so therefore. I often say that about black flags. We get judged by how we normally drive, not really the crime.
Right.
So, you don't usually drive like that, and you drove like that. No, I'm going to black flag you because you need to go back to driving like you normally do. So right.
Maggie checking in with us.
Hey, making pictures.
Yeah. Had a little health something go on. Something got her down to Mandan. She ended up in the emergency room, as far as I know, or at the hospital or something.
I didn't hear that. Hope all is well. She's checking in. Must be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, where should we get started? Mandan?
Mandan Friday. Mandan had a doubleheader.
Mandan Meltdown went on. The group of us went down on Friday night. It was Raceland, Rudlin, yourself, the Grinsteads.
Yeah, I was
Adam
able to
Goff,
ride with Chris and Brenner and Tyson, so that was cool.
And then Brock showed up and was on the end with Adam or whatever. There was 5 of you there?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So this is kind of new, this gang going down to Mandan.
Yeah, I think it was just a case of that the schedule was right. Nobody else was racing.
Yep.
We needed a fix, and
so this Friday is same?
Well, maybe try and redeem ourselves from the week before or something like that.
I don't think this Friday.
Oh, this Friday coming up.
This Friday coming up will be
a Williston doubleheader. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I thought you meant the past Friday, but
the past Friday they were all down there opening night.
Yeah, and we knew we weren't going to stay for the second night. Well, most of us.
Everybody,
because we were going to Estevan opener. Saturday.
Everybody left the racetrack. Brock drove all the way home to Minot, and all intentions were to go to Estevan on Saturday. But somewhere along the line, he talked himself into going back to Mandan for night number 2 because
having great runs.
I think he looked at the points and said, "My car's fast right now, and I'm doing really good down here. Why do I want to give this up?"
Don't work on it till you break it. Just keep doing what you're doing. And what is he doing? Was it because,
hopefully just eating hot dogs looking at it.
Is it 11C Racing that being part of the team that's giving him speed?
Probably. Jordan has done this long enough. I've done this long enough. Every once in a while, you get a race car and you get a driver and a motor. You just get everything that just
the planets kind of line up and
everything clicks.
Yeah. I mean, we watched Brock have a couple of good nights right off the bat, but let's face it, he's setting down the tent hooks here. He's got her going on. I think it's awesome. He's and I don't even think he's. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I don't think he's even wrenching on it because it's not broke.
He ain't changing it. The most he does is maybe some minor, I'm talking super minor adjustments.
Make sure the toe outlet's there.
There you go. Yeah,
things like that. Make sure the tires are round and ready. So.
But he's putting in the work as well, trying to maintenance it like it's breaking every week. Just because, like I went down there last night to grab something for Max, and the radiator's out of it. He's got the wheels and tires off. He's got this. He's got everything apart, cleaning it and going through it, making sure. Doing the preventive stuff. Hopefully, to keep the car going longer, to keep this streak going.
One thing I noticed about him at Dakota Speedway in particular is it's such a big track, and sweeping out at 3 going into 4, you seem to really want to push off, where his car sticks coming out of 4 just in the bottom. I mean, it's just biting down there.
But part of that goes back all the way to corner entry and in the center of the corner. That's where that builds. He's able to get the car. He can drive in the same way Jordan can. They can drive in together. Jordan's car doesn't turn or rotate the center. Jordan's kind of skates a little bit, and when that skates, Brock's able to pin his car and rotate that 180 degrees.
We call it that little bit of push in the center. You're always trying to overcome that, and often the results are no forward. Right now, he's
able to pin that center,
continue the turn
without losing speed,
without losing speed, without having to dynamite the brakes.
And then when he says "giddy up," that thing
it jumps up and goes.
Yes, sir.
But he's able to find that moisture that nobody else. He's able to wrap that corner all the way around that nobody else is able to find that strip of moisture coming out because their car is skating a little bit or pushing in the center or whatever.
Get the slide out.
He gets if you're 2 car widths off the bottom or even a car width off the guardrail in Mandan, you're kind of in no man's land down there. If you can hug it tight to the guardrail, you see Donovan Weiss do it in the Legend cars. He's down right. They call it the Donovan Weiss line.
Yeah, the full 180.
Yeah, it seems like he's coming down the straightaway on the bottom of the racetrack almost.
And what a tough spot for you to be in.
Why?
Right? Well, you're announcing wins 2 features. You come on here and you got to play it cool, and you can't be like, in your face, Milwaukee.
I don't ever. if you've done this long enough,
yeah.
We talk you're in 40 years or close to it.
Most highs get met with a low. So
yeah, I'm 2 years away from 30 years. So I know that you can have the highest,
great season,
highest of highs,
certainly
followed by the lowest of lows, and you got to be even keel through it all. If you can't figure out a way just to stay steady through it all,
you're hitting on some key things that I think, and he wants to make sure he's doing that, so he's staying focused on, like you say, keeping the dirt out of the radiator, make sure the power steering hoses are tight, brake lines aren't leaking, type of deals. So
the small stuff that can jump out and bite you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're all one bolt away from falling out and not finishing. With that said, he made that decision, as we're saying, and I think with that said, he was able to go, if I remember right, I think he went from 9th to 5th, which he went forward. Green arrows, awesome. And I think with that said, that would have him on the first 3 nights with top 5 finishes.
Yeah. Well, I think we're 6 nights into his season in the stock car, and he hasn't finished worse than 5th. Knock on wood.
Okay, the whole works, yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, so good on that. That's fun when that happens.
Just live in it. Just live in it and enjoy it.
I'm holding restraint right now because I want to say I knew it all along. That's what I'm thinking,
Well, he told the rest of us he wasn't going to race all year long, but he didn't tell you.
There was some inside trader information going on there. We need to get the commissioner back on the line.
I think we got tricked up a little bit. This is me screaming from the down, 160 right now, but my crew's coming back. We're only 30% in.
Yeah. So Friday night in Mandan, Jeremy Keller, 27 modifieds were there. Jeremy Keller picked up the feature win.
I think he went plus 12 or 11.
He went a bunch.
I think him and Jason both went plus 12, I think.
And referencing that, he mentioned that was a brand new, we talk about Rage, we talk about Razor, we talk about all these different chassis. Jay McDonald.
Yeah, JMR car.
That's cool. I hadn't heard that name, and
I think it's pretty popular in the Wasota world, and Jeremy has entertained that there for a handful of years now at least. So, but yeah, you're right. in a sea of rage, he ain't.
The stock cars went to Todd Carter.
Yeah, I think Todd had been a while since he won anything, or at least in an
How crazy.
ICA.
You were in that feature, and I don't know if you noticed or not, but I was standing up in the bleachers watching, and I almost watched 4 different racetracks happen in one 20-lap feature. The way the track started.
High, back down.
Isn't it crazy?
Brock was expounding on that, and he thought he got snookered there.
He was mad at me because I spent the heat races in the infield because we were kind of talking the week before. I stood up at the top row of the bleachers and whatever. He goes, it'd be handy to have you down in the infield, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, the heat races, I was down there, and I come out, and I was going to grab another sweatshirt, because it was chilly.
Yeah, when the sun went down.
When the sun went down, I was going to grab another sweatshirt, something to drink. Well, I didn't make it back across before the feature started, and I didn't want to be that guy to try to run across in between features, so I just I'll just stand up here.
He wanted you to be that guy that ran across.
He wanted me down there because whatever, maybe a little heads up,
little signaling.
Yeah.
I imagine as comfortable as he is at Nodak, he's probably not super comfy down there.
To watch him race, you couldn't tell the difference, but the tracks are certainly different. So
there's something about the beaters. I'm super good in Mandan. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. It just suits what I do. Brock had success there in the Sport Mod. He won the Oktoberfest in the Sport Mod. There's something about Mandan that just the way we. I look back at in the late 90s, early 2000s when John and you went through a stage there where kind of drier tracks were prevalent. Mm-hmm. Where we didn't have the equipment back then to create a heavy racetrack per se when it came feature time. Mm-hmm. That's what I learned to race on. So going down there, having a more hard, drier surface just fits myself.
Driving with an egg under your foot.
Right.
Easy on, easy off.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, Brock has picked that up as well over the years, which,
it's showcasing right now. Yeah. Like I say, you got to have the egg down there in Mandan. Not so much in Minot, but nonetheless, I don't think he's changing gears.
He's not.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. So, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Vroom, vroom.
But Todd Carter, that was pretty cool.
Todd put it together. Been a while for Todd. and I are close to the same age, so just a dominant Wissota street stock racer, and made the IMCA change last year when Mandan did, and certainly always competitive, but I don't think he had found Victory Circle until that night there, Friday night. So
Preston Martin picking up the Legends.
I think that was a plus 10, I think.
Yeah.
So,
He another 48 cars in the Legends. Crazy.
A lot.
Jeremy Engelhardt in their hobby stocks, which they're still Mandan hobby stocks.
Camaros.
Camaros and all kinds. They're pretty cool to look at.
Yeah.
And then Caden Davenport picked up the slingshot win.
Strong runner last year.
Yep. We seen him down in Watford and.
So we're talking about our fantasy and trying to make picks and stuff like that. Was it Friday night? Marlon and Sean in both
DNF.
classes.
Yeah.
I would have.
Not usual.
No.
Yeah. They got tangled up together in that first thing in the stock car, but before it was all said and done, even both modifieds didn't get done, and they weren't involved in with each other on that deal. So.
And that's what you talk about any given night.
Yeah, any given night. It can switch like that. It's.
Was it a full moon on Friday?
I don't know.
It must have been close. So.
No.
Yeah.
But Saturday night, we'll touch on these really quick. Jeremy Keller went back-to-back. I think he went plus 10 or 12 again. He came came through the
Gonna
field.
Be deep in the invert, probably leading the thing. So.
So where did Walla finish then?
I think he finished 5th on
second night.
6th on the second night. Went plus 6. He finished 6th on the second night. And then
going forward, but 6th.
Stock cars, Andrew Yoakum picked up a win.
Guy out of Fargo.
Second win of the year down there. He won night 1 and night 3.
Number 21.
Sean Strand rebounded back. Actually he started pole and finished second, so he actually had a red arrow. How many times do you get second and have a red arrow?
Yeah. Few.
And then
this time.
Speaking of Brock, he ended up 4th in that deal.
I got 4th, okay.
Yep.
I went up 5 then. Yeah.
Noah Madler picked up the Legends win. Donovan Weiss 2nd. Preston Martin 4th. Just some highlights there. Josh Rorick, 4D. He's been in a hobby stock down there for what seems like forever.
Mark Dahl, Friday night. Gone. Jetting gone. Half a lap. Yellow comes out. Jeremy gets him, man. I didn't think anybody was sniffing him.
Yeah, we were busy loading already. I wasn't able to watch it. Followed it on my race pass. So.
And then Weston Yearanker showed up down there to Mandan out of Williston, a Williston driver. He picked up the slingshot win on Saturday night. I did not get to watch Saturday night. I was busy with yourself.
We were northbound and down.
But super good racing down there, super fun to watch.
Just to touch on Brock real quick. Again, he made that decision to stay in Mandan, pursue that, and I thought he had the results to justify his stay.
Yeah.
So, miss him in Estevan for sure, but
we sure would have liked him up there.
There'll be some days he can still make it.
I think most days he can, and I don't believe the plan is to bring the stock car up there. He wants to maybe showcase the mod up there in Estevan, I believe.
Fair. We don't need any more nights on that motor than we need to do.
That's funny.
Those darn things. It's not a guarantee they're going to break, but I mean they're.
Well, because Jordan,
it's a tough world.
You got it covered. Yellow Mandan.
Yeah.
Orange numbers Minot. And then there's another one lurking in the weeds too.
Yeah. He hasn't got much attention here for a couple of weeks, but he's still on the radar. I'm walking past him to go to the other car, so. It's busy in there, but spring comes by and you pulled in 6 different directions. But
Estevan,
yeah. So with Mandan, for the majority of us, we just did the one night. Next day,
we cruised right up Highway 52, made it across the border just fine. There was some people rumbling about, you can't get across. It's harder to get across. I didn't see any difference.
Yeah. Now they've wanted the passport or the passport card. But they've been entertaining a license and your birth certificate, and they still are because people are getting in on it, and so that makes some convenience there. I think these real ID driver's license probably cover what a passport is anyway. So I
thought it was really easy. Corey Hawksprung rode up with Max, went up there with his hobby. Corey rode with me, and Max was with Jenny, but we had there was no
Yeah, a friend of mine jumped in with me and rode up, and no problems with us either. So they did start a couple hours early.
Which I think they probably regretted after the fact.
Yeah.
All the reasons that you talk about.
Well, I mean, again, it was real. Now, what they didn't know in February when they probably made that deal was that, we were gonna be 85 degrees out type of deal. But as the day went on, I mean, the track that I call the track to match type of deal, just a 2-hour change changed everything. At least
there was dust.
There was dust. And the sun in your eyes is real. I wear glasses, so it's 2 lenses for me, and it's just crippling. It's just crippling. I don't know why I stayed out there, because coming out of 4 there, you can't see if somebody goes around, and it happened a couple of times. So it's breath-holding, to say the least. I've heard that they're going to do it again the second time. I hope maybe they change their mind.
That's what I heard too.
So they had done it years ago, and then they didn't, and we're nice enough out. We can cruise into normal hours. I hope.
After all, we're looking at 90 degrees on Sunday, so temperatures aren't. That's probably why they did it. Was the concern of temps?
With the concern of an early season start, and getting cold in the stands and stuff like that. I always say Canadians are way hardier than we are. They're not scared to put on the Carhartts, even if it's 70 out.
Never is ever going to be colder than the first night at Nodak.
that was fresh.
I stuck. I was like, I guess I'm staying until the next night.
Tongue on the light pole. That was fresh.
That was.
I
It
agree.
was.
But nonetheless, the welcome in Estevan is always real.
Yep.
Good to see everybody again.
They had a new system, how to check in. You did it online.
Yep. They shared that there was some
hiccups,
some kinks in it, but they assure that when it gets all figured out, it's going to be probably the most streamlined thing we deal with. So everybody will get through the line fast but me, because I still got to do it the old-fashioned way, because I'm me.
Because you're me. I'm guessing Max did it the old-fashioned way too, because I didn't go online and check you in or anything.
Yeah. I still have to say hi, how are you, and pay here and sign here, and yeah.
We might come back to the first guest is good. The phone call's at 7:30.
Oh, okay. Are we there already?
We're already to 7:30. We might.
Oh, 7:28. Okay. See.
So I want to give Estevan their due.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're gonna table Estevan.
Okay.
We're gonna come back to it, and we're gonna switch gears to Nodak.
Maybe we need a doubleheader here.
Careful what you wish for.
we just might do one.
Excuse me again.
We're going to switch gears to the Nodak Speedway. As we talked, we're coming back to Estevan. I promise we are going to give Estevan their due credit when we're done with this, maybe the phone calls here. But I scheduled some guests, so I wanted to give them their time, because everybody asks what time when you talk to these guys, because they want to make sure they're available. So that's why it was kind of time dependent or time sensitive.
Makes sense.
Nodak Speedway. 80 degrees, 85 degrees, wind blowing 30 miles an hour. Kind of the opposite of your Saturday night when it was super cold. It almost felt like a heater.
Felt great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
winds out of the south, the sun's blaring hot, and we got sprint cars.
Probably not the best track building weather. They struggled. Plus, what goes unnoticed is we started on time, but we started an hour earlier because we had hot laps in qualifying for the sprint cars.
Yeah. So there was track usage at 6, even though we went back to the 7 o'clock deal a month early.
Right.
Great move.
Right.
But nonetheless, stained by the fact that there was some hot laps.
Correct. So I just, we started at 7, but technically the racetrack got started.
Time trials.
Did you like the time trials?
I'm into it.
There's a lot to be learned from that. Plus the lineups, but
right.
Yeah.
I'm all about time trials too. I'm a big fan of time trials.
Yeah.
Now that I got the graphic working on the old TV side that slots them in with their lap times.
Well, so I watched that live. I haven't watched it on your show. Now I got to go back and watch that.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're betting on who's doing what, you need time trials.
Yep.
Are we close?
So
carrying on, you got some interviews with people that are winning.
We got the IMCA Sport Mod feature winner, Tim Goodwin, first ever feature win at the Nodak Speedway. We're kind of on a theme. If you guys haven't picked up on the theme yet,
it's Taylor's the week before.
Taylor's, and And I just figured he'd be a good one to join us, and I forewarned him that we were going to call him, so why don't we get Tim Goodwin on the horn, huh?
Let's do it.
Hello.
Hey, Tim, you out there?
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, not too bad. How are you guys?
Pretty good. Welcome to the Dirt Weekly.
All right. Sounds good.
We're doing all right, but I'm not coming off an A-main victory at the Nodak Speedway.
Yeah, that was dominant.
Pretty awesome.
Got to get you turned up here somehow.
Yeah, we're kind of short on volume.
The first show that we did, we were doing maybe it wasn't our first show, but we were doing our draft and we were talking about you, and there was a little bit of uncertainty of whether you would be at Nodak because the motor might not have been in place, and even in your victory, you don't have all the colors flying on the side of the car either, but you're fast.
Yeah,
There
we switched some things up this year, and I was to the point in my race career where I had a few crates laying around that probably needed to be freshened or were overdue for freshen, and I got a mechanic shop on the side, but they don't let us tear the crate motors apart, and I'm looking at them and thinking about, well, it costs this much to have them resealed and freshened, but it's really only this much in parts, and it just didn't make sense for me to send these crates off and have them resealed at thousands of dollars a piece when I know how much it costs to actually rebuild a motor, and so I decided it was going to be cheaper for me to go with the open or the claim engine, and I stuck a freshened used one in there to start off with, and we had some troubles there in practice, but we got her straightened out, and I was redoing some chassis stuff on my car, and we had some kinks we had to work out here and there the first few races, but I feel like we are getting close here.
Well, yeah, you definitely were close. You were good. So I thought it was a dominant performance. Hey, just to touch on what you were just talking about there, I'm always hurraying for the guy that can do his own mechanical work. And with that said, once you broke the seals on that and got in there, you would have had to take off the 4-barrel and put on the 2-barrel, right?
Yeah. So I didn't turn any of my crates into opens.
Oh,
I
okay.
bought. Right. I just sold them.
Okay.
I got rid of them, and then I built an open for a backup, and then I bought a used open that was fresh.
Okay.
And that one went right in the car right away.
That's what was in this past Sunday then, yeah.
Right. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Tim, how many years have you been in the sport mod?
So this will be my third year.
Yeah, because last year you really started to show some muscle and let it be known that you were going to be a factor.
Yeah. You start out racing and everything, and shoot, I'm 32 years old, and it's always been a dream of mine. My dad was a late model driver for years and years and years. Very, very good too. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He ran, right towards the end, the last few years that he ran was a crate late model. But, man, the guy, he can drive. And, so it was always something I wanted to do. And I jumped right in a sport mod. And there's just so much to learn, with suspension and setup. And I think if someone really takes a desire and drive, and it's really something they're interested in and wanting to be good. And I'm super competitive, so if, some people are perfectly happy with going out and racing and finishing in the top 10, and that's great. They're having a great time, and but that just bugs me. A top 5 bugs me, and it might sound bad, but that's just the person I am. I'm super, super competitive, and I think it's, the first year or two, you see it just, like Gabriel Deshaw. It's the same thing. His third year in, and he's really shining and dominating. If someone takes a good desire to want to win, that third year is the one that they're really going to start shining.
Brandon, I think you've commented on stuff like that.
Well, it's been long discussions that I've had with several drivers, Travis Hagen being the most prominent one, that back when he started racing mods, went from the hobby to the mod. It's a 3 to 5 year transition period, or a 3 to 5 year period where you're going to start year 1 and 2, you're learning. You're absorbing, you're learning. Success is starting to come in top 5s, top 10s, consistency. Year 3, you start seeing the feature wins. By year 5, you're pretty solid in what you're doing.
You're really clarifying your mistakes and, and your shortcomings on your preparation.
Tim, you are a perfect example of that, because you came around 2 years ago. I didn't even know who you were. I said, who is this white 89? I don't even know who it is.
Yeah.
You came and introduced yourself. I talked to you for a little while, and then somehow my daughter and your daughter became friends, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
I really appreciate you describing the desire to win, like you say. And sometimes we just all get complacent to where we're at and stuff like that, and it's a full-time job just staying hungry sometimes. Certainly when the outside world is squeezing in on you, and you don't always get the time to do the things you want to do. But yeah, you're exactly right. A top 5 is cool and a top 3 is cool, but a win is the only thing you want to remember. And man, you're starting off the year with one. That's going to be a great year for you.
I like how he said he has a mechanic business on the side. I mean, your shop over there where you earn a living is actually helping you pay for the racing. So I mean, it's more of racing on the side, but not in your mind. It is the shop is on the side.
Yeah, like I say that about Gabriel all the time. And if people want to win, I mean, if you get in a race car, you want to win, obviously, but you can tell by talking to someone and just looking at their race car, really, if they're gonna put the time in that's needed to be able to win and be competitive. I mean, I talk about this maintenance program and stuff, and Gabriel's car always looks top notch when it gets to the track. You can step on his bumper and there's no creaks but they spend a lot of time on that. I mean, sometimes I'll talk to Gabe and he just put a 12, 14-hour day in working on his cars. And, that's what it takes. And that's something that nobody gets to see in the racing is another thing I tell people is you never have enough time to get everything that needs to get done on your car. It's always you're cramming the priorities, and because you could spend 60, 40, 50, 60 hours a week on your car and still have things to do.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, got to prioritize. You're exactly right. So keep those air cleaners clean.
Year 1, you kind of you had a car that you found, you bought it. You made a change going into last year, didn't you? You upgraded to a Victory car last year?
Right, yep.
And that's the same car you have now, or do you have a different one this year?
Yep, that's the same one.
Same one.
Yeah.
I seen major improvement. When you made that car change from year 1 to year 2, major improvement went your way. Just because I think you had a little bit more consistency in a car, a little better car.
Right, and I think the thing that helped me out a ton was, I bought a car. I can't remember. I think I maybe paid like $6,500 for a turnkey crate sport mod. And, I didn't just jump in it and go. Obviously, I went through it and stuff like that, but I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what bite was or rear steer or this or that. I basically jumped in it and went. And I think the huge thing that helped me was buying this Victory, because I think back now, and I'm like, man, if I would have known now, if I would have knew then what I know now, when I had my old car, I probably could have made it just as fast. But the huge thing that I think helped me was putting this car together and getting the setup book and putting it to factory and, checking everything, going through it front to back. You just, and that's why I always thank Travis Hagen when, I do win. That's the first person that comes to mind when people ask me, who do you have to thank? Because that guy's helped me so much. I'll put the car on the scales and I'm looking at the numbers wrong or this or that, and I pull out my phone, I call Travis, and he answers. And he people like that, it's free knowledge, and if I could, I'll spend as much time as he wants to on the phone, because you can learn so much from people like him. And if they're willing to help you, it's just a great thing for the sport. And but yeah, going through this car and setting it up, I learned so much, and making changes to help the car handle, and I think that was the biggest improvements.
What are you excited for this year? Yeah, I mean, you're excited you got a fast hot rod, but are you looking forward to any events on the calendar, as the summer goes?
Oh yeah, always the Tougher Than Dirt Tour.
You were leading him into that.
What do you think of first day in broadcasting school here, or what?
Here I was thinking of Williston Championship because you're from there, and then Brandon sneaks that one in there. So right.
No, yeah, I don't know. I'd like to kind of stick around. I've said that a few times. I'd like to stick around this year. I was running second. We were really close, Glasser, last year in state points, and I took off and went and ran the Harris Clash and the Night of 1,000 Stars and down through Iowa, and it was a great experience. But I was right in the points running for the state championship when I left, and I didn't have a shot when we got back. So, yeah, I'd like to just stick around here this year and just see what I can do there for state points, and yeah, like you said, obviously try and do good at my home track, and that's kind of the plan.
Is the plan to run Minot or Nodak, Estevan, and Williston weekly?
Yep.
And then you're going to fill in with Dickinson whenever they're not on top of one another?
Right. Yeah. Oh, I love Dickinson. High bank, short track. That's one of my favorite tracks.
Plus the Tougher Than Dirt. Yeah, it's going to take that kind of night count to get you where you're talking there. I really appreciated the conversation you just had talking about Travis and stuff behind the scenes, because I think most racers can reflect that there's a pretty good network behind them, and it very well may be a fellow racer. I know I'm in the middle of that with a handful of people, and we've talked about Brock and Adam's big into all of our cars and Grinsteads and stuff like that. Got a pretty cool network there. We're always comparing what we call loosening the car and tightening the car, and even you reflecting on your victory car, at least you got a setup book with it. Like you say, now that you know what you know now, you could have even been more dangerous the year before, as in some confidence in your setup. Man, you ain't kidding. I wish I knew this 30 years ago, but I don't. So that's what keeps the sport moving along, keeps it all stirred up for sure. But yeah, again, I really haven't gotten a chance to talk to you one-on-one, but I'm sure enjoying this interview with you, and I sure enjoy watching you drive. You're determined, and your discussion backs that up. I'm looking forward to having a really good year.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I found it interesting that you mentioned Travis Hagen in Victory Lane, and my mind kind of went, Travis couldn't be there on Sunday. You show up, get the victory, and I'm wondering, is it the secret that he just shared with you that got you there? And was it as simple as green M&Ms before the feature?
Hey, now.
No. Yeah. Funny you say that, the secret, okay? So there's all these guys out here that think, oh, what's the secret? What's this? What's that? And it's maintenance. It's it's what you're doing during the week when you get off work. That's where the secret comes in.
Mm-hmm. And having that confidence when you put on the helmet that the bolts aren't loose on the trailing arms and they're not going to fall off, and you can charge the corner for all you're worth. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they say that all the time. Races are won in the garage, and you're sure saying that right now.
Yeah, you're kind of reiterating what we talked about at the beginning of the show. We talked about my brother Brock a little bit because he's kind of on a streaker right now too, and the maintenance program that you have to keep that going is just unreal.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people, that they just can't find the time or don't have the time, and it's just, you just don't want to get caught in that. It just comes back to, do you have the drive to want to do it? And is it going to bug you being a top 10 car or, in the running for the win?
So the big question is,
Yeah.
do you have a significant other?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
Them's good ones are hard to find.
there's the balance. That's the balance.
I got one too. You ain't wrong. Yeah.
She must be very supportive. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a pretty good one. She's, they have a good time, and it's awesome being able to bring your kids to the track and, just like Brandon said, my daughter loves being around the people at the track and, specifically Peyton. And it's like a big family, nobody's really, you show up to the racetrack and it's just everyone's always open arms and open, willing to help. And it's just kind of something, like they say, Southern hospitality, it's like racetrack hospitality.
Well, you seem like you definitely have the racing mindset, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to find you up at Lake Metagoshi on a jet ski on a Saturday night.
Probably not.
Not this year.
No.
Yeah, you touching on some stuff there. I'd like to just continue with that. Like you say, the racing family, if you will, and when you get into that group of people, for the majority anyway, I mean, you get into people that are accountable. They say things, they follow up, and they do them, and it's just a great life to live. I think. I know I sure have enjoyed some friendship for decades on end because it's just even though we're competitive on the track, it's just a real honest friendship off the track too, and even in life's other ventures and stuff like that, you can lean on each other and just be able to count on your friends.
Look where we are 30 years later,
yeah.
John.
I mean, we tease each other all the time, but in times of need, I tell you what, 3 a.m. is not too late to go help. So, yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I seen that last year during the Sport Mod Tour. I wish I could remember it better, but I can't remember if it was Gabriel that got a flat or Medler that got a flat, but them two were neck and neck in the points running, and one of them got a flat, and their pitman, other guys
helped
pitman,
each other.
Yep, put a tire on the car for him so he could get back out there.
See, that's racing mentality. Where I would have been, I'd been throwing the other guy's tire wrench as far as I could. Say, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, you're exactly right. In the picture of raw competitiveness, you can't do that, but we do that because everybody gets a day. So that's awesome.
Right, and at the end of the day, I mean, it's no fun getting 3 or 4 seconds out on the field, and it's always funner racing when you come into the turn and someone throws a slider and then you get to return it in the next set of turns. That's much funner,
It's exhilarating.
Yeah,
Right.
For sure.
Well, we appreciate you taking some time out of your Wednesday night to take our phone call, Tim.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you guys.
Look forward to seeing you this weekend at the Double.
Oh,
in
big
Willie.
time. It's fun to talk and get to meet you because you got another fan in the stands.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Yep. Thank you.
It was
Thank
fun.
you, Tim.
All right. Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.
God, he's such a well-spoken guy, isn't
Yeah.
Well, you can tell that
From
he's
the heart.
into it. He's into it.
he? Yeah.
He's bitten.
Yes.
That's awesome. He's going to go far.
I wonder if the young girl says, hey, you want to go see Snow White tonight? Or movies? No. We're wrenching tonight. Let's go.
She's involved. She's there and involved all the time. Uh-oh.
Oh, the landlord.
What are we?
look
The
at
landlord's
this.
coming
Man,
down.
he's
Look,
bringing
we
out
got
some
food.
goodies.
We got food.
What'd you think I was going to blow away?
Look at the red
Look at that,
velvet.
Bernie. Looking good.
Wow.
Thank you, bud.
We joked the other day, the landlord, I had to fix the light here, and he didn't help, but he brought us food, so I guess he makes up for
He's
it.
redeeming himself.
We got carbs, man. We're going all night now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can I stay focused now? Got red velvet.
We better pass this around.
No, well, yeah.
No, well, maybe.
Are we staying on schedule?
Well, we're not even close to schedule, but
Yeah.
we're going to move on. So
Okay.
after the sport mods were done, congrats to Tim Goodwin on his first feature win. That was a great feature race. He got out front, dominated. Gabe DeShaw had to work his way through the pack, and I think he ended up top top 3,
Yeah.
I believe.
So
But I mean, a good show overall, fun to watch. Next on the docket would be the next class that raced, and that'd be the IMCA Hobby Stocks. And Caden Appelt picked up the win last Sunday, a week ago. Ended up leaving DNFing.
Yeah, crunched up. So
Tore up his race car from the floor up. You almost say
Tore up his race car and his foot.
yeah, that's right. We had
His foot.
a little flesh wound too.
So should we give Caden a call?
I love it.
Yeah.
We're a little late, but hopefully he answers.
Yeah. We're in the ish part.
We're in the ish.
Hello?
Hey, Caden, Dirt Weekly here. Brandon, Jordan, and Craig, how you doing?
Not too bad. How about you guys?
Hey.
Doing excellent. Excellent. We're just calling to talk about Sunday night, man. You kind of turned it complete 180 from the week before.
Yeah, it was quite the turnaround for what we really didn't know. There was a lot of unknowns going into the night.
I disagree with that, Caden. I completely disagree with that. And I think if I could take you back to last year, and I don't know if you remember we had this conversation, but I bumped into you in the pits, and I'm convinced you're really talented and elite. Your car's always fast. And when you're out there, you're always a favorite to win. The green flag goes, I don't think you know what half throttle is. It's go.
Switch pedal.
The brain tends to leave sometimes.
But the talk about, you go from 1 week, you go from winning opening night, you had a super high, and then night 2, a first lap incident, you literally had nowhere to go. I mean, the track kind of clogged up in front of you, tore up the front of your car, the lowest of lows, and then you come back this week with the highest of highs again.
Yeah, it's that's kind of been the story of the whole racing career. Highs and lows. I've rolled, I think, 5 or 6 times and bent up cars with one night on them, and I definitely know the highs and lows. But it's when you come back up, come on top it's something special.
I think your dad is your crew chief, correct?
Yes, and my neighbor, unfortunately.
and that's where I'm coming from. I think maybe
I graduated with him.
I think maybe a governor might do you good. Where you just pull back that throttle just a nab.
Like the lever on the lawnmower, not all the way up, pulled down a little bit.
Everybody says you can't win it on the first lap, but you can sure hell make it a lot easier too on yourself.
But you can also lose it on the first lap.
Oh yeah, I've been on the other end of it too.
Well, with that said, and as you're sharing there, you've been through some tough moments. But so that second night, you're evaluating this thing. Race day 6 days away. What do you go through on that? There, you're looking at the front end. Did you have frame damage, or was it something you had to get straightened, or?
The whole front clip's moved over on the car.
It is.
It still is.
It still is, huh?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's a hot setup. I mean, that's where we have to go to when it comes back and wins.
The Cole Hanshoe bent fast. Gotta go with it.
Yeah, can you bring it over so I can measure it? We can bend maxes that way too.
My garage is always open, Brandon.
Oh boy, yeah, like I
say,
think
my foot took most of the hit. My foot still is sore from that Sunday night.
I saw the picture of it there. Of course, that was the brake foot, and well, that doesn't seem like it gets overused, so it didn't slow you down for getting back in the car. So, yeah, like I say, your dad's a mechanic for sure, and you're surrounded by people that are plenty mechanical. So come Monday night, you're looking at it and just start digging in and do what you do, huh? Put it back together and.
Kind of everything we touched kind of fell apart on us. So it was just replace the bolt-ons and kind of go from there. Dustin Smith builds a hell of a car. I mean, they're so easy to work on.
Got a K car? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite. I've owned several new Terminators and stuff, but these are by far superior to anything I've seen.
Nice.
So you mentioned that we've witnessed a couple rollovers. I think there was one when you were racing for a championship.
Yeah, that one stings.
Yes. Sorry for bringing that up. But, and then we saw the foot, and again, apologize. Smalls shared your wound with all of us live here. But does that cause you pause at all to think about these dangerous situations, that you could incur physically?
you can't think about it. You just got to keep moving forward. It's something that, like you guys have talked about before, racing gets in the blood, especially when you start picking up wins like that, and you just don't even think about it. Just pick up, limp along, and go.
So we can go in the way back machine. Caden, during an enduro one time, did you hit the tractor or the sheep's foot or something?
Yes, head on.
That didn't slow him down, Craig.
I was in the grandstand
but he
when that
also,
happened.
I think you also
hit.
won. Did you win the enduro after that, or was it the one before that?
The year before, I think I was the youngest person to ever win a state fair enduro.
See, I try to piece all this together in my memory, but it's not very good. I just know you did it.
Yeah, I won it when I think it was 2015.
Yep.
It was the year I graduated, yeah.
Sounds about right.
All right, I'm going to share a little bit of inside talk between Max, Brandon, and I was listening. I think it was opening night, and it was a heat race. Very first heat, and you, again, were a go so good that it looked like maybe a jump. And Brandon, what did you say? You said, he didn't jump. Max, you were sleeping.
I yelled at Max because he was sleeping. I 1,000%. When the flagman waves the green, it's green means go. It's not wait. It's not wait a millisecond or wait a half a second. It's you anticipate it, and you have to be on the throttle when that flag waves.
And you got to be looking at that flagman's shoulder coming through 3 and 4, and as soon as that thing even flinches, you got to go.
Oh, you're in Jordan's mind.
Yeah, I was just going to spit that out. Man, if you're waiting for it to hit his knees, you are getting a hit. You're in the way.
As soon as that thing flinches, you go.
Yeah,
and that
you see
is
him tense up, and so are you.
One thing Caden excels at is anticipation of that flagman waving the green flag and being ready for it. And the right call was made. He did not jump. I went back and watched it with Max. Max was mad, and not mad at you. He was just, he's a competitor too. He's 17 years old. Didn't
Thought he was
understand.
on
We've
it.
all been there. We've all been there.
Yeah, and just explaining to him, I'm like,
improvement.
you waited too long to hit the throttle. Caden was already going.
Yeah.
Green flag was already out.
And I think if you look back at videos, many, many times, no matter where you start, Caden, give it a lap. Certainly 2, you're right at the front. You're like, how is he doing that? Back to the front in a lap.
Well, he was stating early on, the faster you get there, the better off it is after that. But oofta dude, she's breath holding when you go through.
First couple laps, it's usually a lot better.
I pick and choose where I race, Caden. I pick and choose where I race, and I prefer a style of racetrack that I race on. I think everybody notices where I go race. I've never raced with you on a good heavy racetrack. I think I would fail miserably with you out there. You would probably hand me my lunch.
It goes the other way in a dry slick with you too.
That's why I said I'm very picky about where I race. Yeah. But I've never seen a driver like you able to create forward momentum but be sideways at the same time. It is unbelievable how you do that.
Diagonal drive, but going lateral.
I appreciate that. It's just something that you can't. Like you guys know, you can't teach it. You just know it somehow. It just you feel it. Have a different feel for the car.
It's more in your butt than in your brain, right?
Well, I mean, it's just a seat time, and like he's describing there. I mean, eventually you just know it feels right. I mean, you kind of feel it hook up. It squishes you back a little bit, or you're going into the corner, and you can feel yourself rolling against to the right pretty good. So your side bite's pretty good. I've often said your left cheek's your left wheel, and your right cheek's your right wheel, and your hands are your front wheels. So,
that's a true statement.
so yeah. You're certainly fun to watch. I mean, you're entertaining for sure, and I know in the past you haven't been able to make the Tougher Than Dirt tour, at least not the whole thing, and we get some out-of-state travelers coming up, and we start warning them about 3 days out that you ain't raced all of us yet. So
about halfway through the Tougher Than Dirt tour, if you haven't showed up yet, or sometimes you hit Underwood.
Sometimes we get you in Underwood.
But if you I think last year you didn't come until Minot, and we're like, hey, if you think you've had a good week now, the 70 will be in Nodak.
You haven't been thoroughly tested yet because we still got one in our sleeves. So
yeah, we didn't have such a good showing last year. We bent that car up opening night, and we went to the new one, and me and that car never got along. Just couldn't get it to do what we wanted to.
So you just had a baby here not too long ago, right? You and the wife?
Yep. Like
so
3 weeks old. 3 weeks old.
Yep, I remember that. So now you have 2 of them. correct?
Yes. Yes.
So family life is kicking in gear. What is the future of Caden Appelt Racing? Is it sticking in a hobby stock or
Sticking in the hobby stock for now? It's touch and go, to say the least, around here. I'm not going to be able to run Underwood this year like I have in the past.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
I'll come down and hit the specials and like the doubleheader and stuff.
Catch the fair and stuff?
Other than that, I can't. It's just not feasible anymore.
Those of us with kids know what you're doing.
And I like to brag at this point that I'm on the opposite end of that. Jordan's on the opposite end of that. We're kind of back to where we can just kind of go do what we want when we want.
Yeah.
So
once they're driving, you're back to where you thought you were. But but I know exactly where you're at too, and that life calls. And with that said, I think you've always stayed grounded with that. I mean, as quick as you've been
too much.
Yeah,
because we have a lake cabin, and my dad goes and helps my grandpa out on the weekends. So I usually don't have anybody to travel with. I don't like going by myself.
When you're going fast like you are, it's hard to stay home. I mean, you want to go out and kind of show your stuff everywhere, and maybe even chase some checks and trophies. I mean, it's easy to fall into that, but you've stayed disciplined, and for that I respect you. Like I say, you got children at home, and you get new marriage and stuff like that, and like you say, you enjoy some other stuff too. I know you're tight with Will. You're with Will Shresky and stuff like that, and Will has always said that to me too. He said, "I just don't want to burn out on it," and I respect that. It makes sense. So
I've seen it happen too much over the years. I've been going to the races since I was 3, and a lot of guys burn themselves out. Yeah,
you're right. So with that said, your speed certainly hasn't come down any, and life's going to give you some challenges, but nonetheless, the race car itself has never slowed you down any, and for that, again, you're a favorite. Kind of like Earnhardt at NASCAR. You always want to know where Earnhardt was, and when we're watching the hobbies, we always want to know where you are. It's just the truth. So you're the measuring stick at all times. So.
And now that I'm announcing full-time up there, I always pick you out in the lineup. And
I liked you when you were green. You're okay red, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
No, it's cool to see you building a family. It's hard with young kids. People don't understand. They think of Brandon Beater. All he's done is race. People don't get that I disappeared for 3 years from the racetrack, and nobody even knew where I was because I didn't do much racing. No. But my kids were young. My kids were little. Basically where you are now, Caden. And I waited until the kids got old enough that they could partake in a lot of this stuff. Then we started doing some more racing.
Yeah.
And that's probably what avenue I'm going to have to travel with that whole deal.
It's hard to do, but you're doing it, and yeah.
Caden, do you remember Tony Marsh?
Yes.
All right. So back in the day when Tony was at his peak, he was dominating the super stocks. And, I mean, putting it on him to the point where late models were running, and they said, all right, Tony, we're going to put you on the pole, late model feature, just to see, speeds, blah, 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 how you're going to do. What do you think about putting the 70 on the pole, IMCA stock cars? I think you can run with them. I think you can.
Well,
I don't know about that.
I'll check out some lap times, but I know it's pretty close. I will say that I've been able to hop in some guys' hobbies, kind of troubleshooting it, if you will, and we kind of discount that street car tire, but really with it being a smaller size and all that, I feel that the hobby stock actually gets some pretty good side bite. Way more than it looks. It's easy to always fall in love with a bigger tire. I mean, they always make the car look more racy, if you will, but nonetheless, as we've learned driving around on ice in the wintertime, it's the narrow tire that gets you across the intersection. And with that said, I think hobbies are pretty spirited cars in their own right. So,
especially if you do a little soul searching with different brands and everything like that.
Sure.
It really a lot of improvement there.
Yeah,
I don't think that ever ends.
Yeah.
No, you always have to be searching, otherwise you go backwards.
I take complete pride in it. I take complete pride. I try to keep my stuff pretty to myself, and Max likes to blab around, hey, my dad got me this tire, hey, my dad got me that tire, and I'm like, dude, I'm smacking him on the head sometimes going, yo, this tire game is ours to play. Don't tell everybody what we got.
If you're not cruising the dark web looking for different tires in the middle of the night, you're not doing anything.
You are correct.
Well, how refreshing, because we don't even think about it. We just think new, and yet you guys got brand differences. Now, a side note there, Brandon kept looking over to what I call the curtain area because that's where Max is at, but Max was not listening to any of this, so none of that did any good.
He's on his iRacing simulator over there practicing. But no, appreciate you answering the phone tonight, taking some time out of your busy life to talk to us. We sure enjoy it.
I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. Congratulations on the new one. See you at the racetrack soon.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
That's pretty cool. Caden.
That's great. The text today. Who do you want to talk to? I don't know. I'd like to talk to Caden. There we go.
I got you what you want.
I love it.
Yeah. Like I Dream of Jeannie. Blink your eyes, and here he is. So that's awesome.
So next on the agenda, we'll talk about it. We're probably going to get him on. I told him 8 o'clock. He's probably okay. NOSA sprint cars.
Oh, we're 6 minutes in.
NOSA sprint cars came to the Nodak Speedway for the first time for a sanctioned NOSA race since 2013. And what a show.
Yeah.
To think about 2013 to now, that's 12 years.
12 years. Uh-huh.
They brought 17 cars over with them.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, was it fun. That from hot laps to qualifying to their actual racing.
Time trials.
Part. Yeah, to the time trials to the actual racing.
They're flat out. They got to be crazy. And
then props to, the track crew, Smalls and Tom and them guys, they were up against the 8-ball.
Up against weather.
Mother
South
Nature.
wind and sun.
They had the track prep for for hot laps. There was a delay between hot laps, and we had a car off the track, so the track just sat there. And when a dirt track just sits with the wind and the sun baking on it, what's going to happen to it?
Yeah.
It's going to dry out. There's no
like
way around
a pie
it.
in the oven.
Yep.
It gets a crust on top.
But they went to work as soon as qualifying was done. They went to work to prep it for the Sport Mod heats. And then we ran through the heat races. The goal was, I could see the goal light at the end of the tunnel was to get to that sun going down point.
Yeah.
And as soon as they realized they got there, they ran the Sport Mod, the hobby feature, and the text came across saying, we're doing track prep after the hobbies. I'm like, makes sense. Let's prep this thing for the sprint cars.
I got a story unless we're waiting on Hastings.
No, go ahead.
So, as luck would have it, during time trials, there's a couple fellas in front of me, and they're really focused on the 11 sprint. And we got talking, and it turned out to be Bob Mullins, Brendan Mullins' grandfather.
Okay.
And it was a joy to talk to him. He couldn't have been more complimentary to the track crew on what they were doing to accommodate them learning about the safety factors that they require and need, and also what I found interesting, moving them in the lineup of the races so they could get back to Grand Forks at a decent time. They were just Bob Mullins, great guy to talk to, enjoyed it.
And Bob, Brendan Mullen, would come over and support the Nodak sprint car shows even when it wasn't NOSA. So I think they had a liking for the Nodak Speedway coming into it, and maybe they were a big push to get the NOSA sprint cars to come here. Yeah. And having that relationship was just made it all that much better.
I thought the presentation was great. They were into the pits. Smallsy set up that east side there, so they're all lined up side by side.
Perfect.
That way they got to push off and get them started, get them warmed up, do their time trial. Everything made sense. Of course, that was reserved parking. Everybody participated. We made room on what I'll call the west side or everywhere else. I thought it went off like a well-oiled machine. I thought it was good.
When they came out for that feature and that freshly built racetrack, freshly prepped, and they did some little burn-in laps. Oh, the tinglies were going. Yeah. I don't know what do you call it?
The RPM was singing, and
the Jordan phrase, "The speed is real."
Man,
moving
going around the corners at 100. I heard a speed of 130. So that's what I had heard.
I don't have
That
anything.
means 100
It
around
felt
the
like
corners.
needles were hitting me in the face. They're like, this is great.
They were just
sprayed.
screaming.
So picking up the feature win was Jade Hastings in the 8H, but he had a spirited battle with Mark Dobmeyer at the beginning. Lap traffic got in the way, or not, didn't get in the way. Lap traffic was a factor. Dobmeyer actually made contact with lap traffic and rolled a car over. Did a slide job, kind of missed, and it
Had to make some repairs.
Yep. So
I was buckled in the car already, so.
This is going to be a brand new one. I've never met Jade Hastings in real life. So this will be the first time that we actually talk to him.
We'll turn down the flame.
Turn down the flame a little bit. We'll give him a call.
Hello.
Hey, Jade. Brandon Beater here with the Dirt Weekly podcast. I got my co-parts here, Jordan Boyce and Craig Heupel. One of them races, and one of them is a fan in the stands. And just thank you for answering our call tonight after the Nodak Speedway on Sunday.
Oh, no problem. It's my pleasure.
Awesome.
So talk about, we'll start here. Have you ever raced at Nodak coming into this weekend? Have you been over here before?
Yeah, I think I'd raced there 3 times. I'm not sure when the last time I was there was. Probably back in 2016, maybe. So it had been quite a while.
Did the place change at all, or was it what you remembered?
Yeah, it changed. It seemed like I've heard that they've added some new dirt and kind of changed it over the years, but it was a completely different race surface than I remember. I don't know if it was the dirt or the track prep necessarily, but it was a lot more racy than it had been, and a lot faster than it had been in the past.
A lot faster. Yes, you guys looked all of that.
Yeah.
It was really fun, especially at the beginning of that feature there in clean air. Me and Mark felt like we were hauling the mail. It's a good time when you're driving that hard.
So something new to us over here is them time trials. You guys came out, did some hot laps and time trials, and on a day where we had mid 80s and 30-mile-an-hour wind, it probably wasn't a racetrack's best friend.
No, definitely not. And honestly, it's probably a good thing. I was thinking in my head the first night out for all of us, it's probably not a bad idea to slow us down a little bit.
That's interesting for sure. Yeah.
But it is hard
race,
to battle the wind, especially when it's roaring at 20 to 30 miles per hour all day.
You mentioned your battle with Mark at the beginning of the race, but you had a really nice battle while Brendan Mullins was throwing some sliders at you towards the end there, and that was incredible to watch him go down there. And you didn't flinch, and you just cruised right on by again. But that's sprint car racing.
Yeah, that's when it gets the most fun, not only for us drivers, but the fans too, I suppose.
Yeah, you talk about when you and Dobmeyer were battling and he made contact with that lap car. Was anything going through your mind? You missed it, but you were like, oh boy, I don't want to get hung up in this, or what?
Yeah, and it all happened so fast. I anticipated it and could see it coming right before it happened, and I turned down to miss him, but yeah, it was still pretty hairy. I feel like just made it by there maybe by a foot or two. But after it happened, I was just hoping that he came to a stop so I'd inherit the lead, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. I unfortunately was belted into my car, so I wasn't able to see, but I was certainly able to listen. And man, it's just there's nothing like a sprint car, on the firewall almost all the way around the track. I mean, I don't know what you guys are turning for RPM, but it's a lot more than I am in a stock car. So I sure enjoyed the music you were making, and I'd heard some 130-mile-an-hour talk also. So. You touched on the track.
That would be, I don't know if it was that fast, but that would be pretty fast.
At least on the straightaways, anyway.
115, I bet for sure, at least.
I guess I should rephrase that. It hurt 116 average, so that's probably going to be up around 130 straightaway, 100 corners.
So 130, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I had no idea. That is cooking.
And you touched on the track prep and stuff like that, and it's just something that's really. Really just been a pinnacle point of Nodak here in the last couple of years is to make a track that's damp but not sloppy. I know that they've got what they call a heavy hitch this year, and Smalls had shared that every track needs to get one. And again, I thought the conditions were just about impossible, but yet again, I was just going by ear. But you guys are definitely finding traction somewhere, because I really heard nothing pedaling. It was pretty much all firewall racing. So good on you guys.
Yeah, it was great. And I'd just like to shout out to the track just with the efficiency in the track prep. It's very rare to see it done so fast and at the right time, I guess you could say. It didn't feel like there was any downtime in the night, which as a driver I love. There's nothing worse than sitting back there waiting around. So
Well,
I can say I appreciate that.
Great comment.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
I know I was the announcer on Sunday night, and in being in the chats and stuff that was going on throughout the night, the timing was trying to get the sun to be behind the trees in turn 4. And when that sun went to that point where it was going behind there, they were planning a track prep the whole night. So that was kind of the timing they were trying to play with. And they pushed through them heat races and got the first 2 features out there to try to get to that. And they did an excellent job. Beautiful job of what they did.
100%. It was awesome. It was one of the most professionally run shows I think I've ever been a part of. I mean, obviously, racing at Huset's every week, that's hard to beat. Oh. But they set the bar high, but mine was definitely not far behind on Sunday night.
Brandon, you cannot let Smalls hear any of this.
Jade, that's a great comment. And again, Smalls is the track prep guy. He was unable to make tonight, so heck, we'd have probably lost contact with planet Earth on that comment had he been here. So we'll give it to him gently if he isn't listening live. But yeah, I mean, to be able to even be in the same sentence as Huset's, from a sprint car guy, I think that's a high mark. So
you run
cool
Huset's weekly, you run River City Speedway weekly, and then you do all the NOSA shows?
That's what we always try to do. We think we're more prepared this year to do it than we have been in the past, so hopefully we can fully do it all. But usually our Huset's pitter-patters out in about mid-June. We run out of equipment or nice enough equipment to compete down there. Yeah. But we kind of stepped up the bar this off-season, so hopefully it pays off.
See, we live in a part of the state that sprint cars aren't very prevalent. Actually, I don't even know if there's any local cars left here in western North Dakota.
Well, of course, Greg lives here, but I think we looked him up, and Greg hadn't been able to compete for 2 years. I know his boys are in baseball. So
I know he just got an engine built this winter, so he's planning on getting back in the car. I actually thought he was going to be there Sunday, obviously. I hadn't talked to him or nothing, but I was hoping to see him, but no.
Yeah, sure.
And then we had, the FedEx used to come down, and I think he made a post saying how he was going to miss it on Sunday morning. So
that's too bad. I know that's I don't know. That's all he wants to do is race in Minot. So
yeah,
I was expecting to see him there too.
Well, what was really nice also is Donnie Schatz, of course, for being from here, and his nieces promoting that they were going to race here. Obviously, the Schatz name is very well received, and one thing we've been striving for at the Nodak Speedway is to get a good crowd, and we certainly got that with your presentation on Sunday. That was.
For sure, I thought so too. It's a great crowd. I know you guys race Sundays every night, but going to a track on a Sunday night that you're not familiar with, you kind of never know what to expect in the stands, and it was a good turnout.
Yeah, it's a big grandstand, and when we can kind of make it look half full, I mean, that place seats 7,000 people. So when we can make it look a quarter full.
Kind of covered.
I mean, it's a
good night.
It's a cool place.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you checking in with or answering the phone and agreeing to talk to us. We enjoyed having you at the Nodak Speedway. I hope. I heard rumors that maybe there's another date coming up later in the year. I don't have official word on it. Have you heard anything?
Yeah, there's nothing official. There's been some rumors. We'll see what happens, I guess, but I know for sure we all want to come back. That's for sure, whether it be this year or hopefully multiple times next year.
And I know you probably gained some fans over here in the Minot area. I know I'm for sure going to check out what you're doing over there. I got some buddies that live over in Grand Forks. Chad Hoff, who used to be an announcer at Grand Forks, he's one of my good friends, and I think he's watching right now because he heard you were going to be on here tonight. So,
well, if he is, hi Chad, I miss you.
Right.
It's funny because Chad and I announced together over here at Nodak, and we did Williston as well sometimes. So Chad's a good guy.
Yeah, he's one of a kind.
Yeah,
sure.
The Grand Forks racing community lost a good one when he moved down to Dickinson.
I agree. We all miss him too.
Yeah, so you probably gained some fans over here. I'll pay attention. If people are out there and you guys want to watch more sprint cars, I know River City Speedway TV is out there for everybody to jump on Friday nights and watch. Huset's, I believe, is on. What are they on? Dirt Vision.
Yeah, Dirt Vision every Sunday. I know.
Yep.
I want to say that my wife, she live streams every race on my Facebook page,
Yep.
Jade Hastings.
Oh.
So if anyone wants to catch anytime we're racing, she's usually live unless she can't get cell phone service. So
Jade, do you ever flirt with the World of Outlaws? You in with them?
I'm really good at getting my butt kicked by them. But I'm watching them on the TV right now, actually. So.
Checking out their moves.
Well, that's hard to believe after watching you on Sunday night that it looked like you could run right with them.
Well, they do it for a living, so they're I like to think when I'm on the track I can beat anyone, but that's not always the case. Like they say in football, any given Sunday it can happen.
Any
Good
given
point.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll follow along with you. Hopefully you guys come back. Hopefully Nodak can make it happen to where we see you back here, and if not this year, get us on the schedule for next year, the NOSA guys, and I know Steven and Amanda through my broadcasting life or whatever. I've been over in Grand Forks with them, or not Grand Forks, Devil's Lake with them when they've been over there helping, doing different things, and it's a good group that you guys have running the NOSA series right now.
Yeah, they take good care of us for sure, and they put in a lot of hard work, and definitely don't get thanked enough.
Yeah, you can blame Amanda for giving me your phone number. So
that's the first thing I thought. I was like, he must have talked to Amanda. That's what I was thinking. So that's funny.
Yep. Well, I was started with her. If she wasn't going to give it to me, I was going to Steven. So
yeah.
But
Steven would have gave it to you for sure.
But appreciate you taking the time out on a Wednesday night, and hopefully we see you again next year up here or later this year.
For sure. Anytime. Thanks for having me. And yeah, like I said, I can't wait to be back. The place was fast and it was fun. So Thanks again.
Best of luck this season, and talk to you soon again.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right.
Hey,
Thanks,
thank you.
gentlemen.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
That was fun, right?
So what I want to do now is I want you to go out to the garage, and we're going to do a makeshift show where you're pretending to be Jade, and I want you to just trash the track, and we'll play that for Smalls.
Yeah, we can't give it to him this nice. No. I mean that was professional. His feet may never touch the ground again.
I can't believe he hasn't called yet.
Yeah, he's not watching live. He'd come blasting through the door.
I'm
here.
But we got the dude here.
Tell me how great I am.
We got dude.
Smallsy, you're not here. You know you're going to get some of this, so.
Yeah, great interview.
Yeah.
He's such well-spoken. All three, man, we have picked some people that can talk.
Yeah.
Last week, this week, I mean, Isaac kind of set the bar low, so it doesn't take much to get any better than Isaac.
I mean, what more do you got to do? Because we're just talking about speed. If you're Jade, to run with the Outlaws, I mean, it looked like
You'd have to look in the record books, but I want to say that the track record at Nodak is 12 seconds, somewhere in the 12-second range. I don't know that for sure, but
and even that can change. Like he was sharing, dirt's moved around. Maybe it's moisture or whatever. Different nights.
They were at the high
things.
15s. When they were qualifying, they were at the 15s, high 15s, low 16s.
Oh, I see. So you're saying there's still a 3-second spread.
And when these guys go, when a guy like Jade, and this ain't ripping them in any way, shape, or form, when a guy like Jade or even Mullins or Dobmeyer, when these guys, they're most nights they have their any given Sunday, because Dobmeyer has some feature wins in the World of Outlaws.
Yep.
But they have their any given Sunday type moments, but they're usually fighting for an A main spot through a B main when they get with the Outlaws. Just to get in the A main.
Yeah.
So when I was
he stayed grounded in that discussion. So.
There was some talk in the stands because everyone wants to see Greg race.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was well known that he was working on a motor, needed a motor.
Mm-hmm.
And so, big deal. What's a motor? Get a crate from Jim Ryan, $2,500. Here we go. Bob Mullins sitting in front of me. He says 75 big for a motor.
Is that what they are now?
Hello.
Yeah. And they can break on any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday.
75.
Oopta. Yeah. Well, that unfortunately puts a perspective in why we just can't have them weekly. We just don't have the depth of population to support that.
Miles Tomlinson just checked in. Motor programs are the biggest difference.
Yeah.
Miles,
Thank you, Miles.
one of these shows we're going to get you on here to promote your
Yeah.
your Western
well,
Renegades.
and even explain some of the differences because
Yep.
Miles' deal fits for our world.
Yep.
You know, it's a wingless deal. The wing doesn't affect the traction like a bigger motor can pull. So
And I
that would
think
be fun to talk about.
the non-wing series, one of the big attractions there is they're not putting tires on. Those guys are ripping that right rear. It had to be gone. Jade's tire is probably on the rim by the time he's done.
A World of Outlaws operation won't use a tire twice, so
Right.
they just can't. They can't afford that.
Well, and I think
that
maybe
miscue.
the heat race track that they had, they probably burned up some tires. Them features, I bet they get another heat race maybe out of them tires. I don't know what they do. Maybe they throw them away when they're all done. But, that there was enough moisture out there in that feature. It shouldn't have been super hard on tires is what I'm kind of going
Just
at.
smoked it all the way off. Maybe even a preferred tire to Miles in the wingless. I know that they sometimes chase around that stuff there to get good used tires.
So Jade, you think just had her flat-footed?
Boy, I'm just going by me being belted in the car. It didn't sound like anything was lifting. It pulled down just from the bank of the corner, and back up it went. But when it pulls down and it doesn't sound light, that means it's still rugged.
Did you know that sprint cars, they have don't they only have two brakes on the car, like the left front, the left rear type thing?
Well, they have a brake on the back axle. It's a solid.
Oh, yeah.
So they have two brakes, a left front and a rear. And what I've seen is they're inboard. They're just off the center of the quick change. They're
Right.
not way out by the tires like our cars are.
Right. Mm-hmm. But it's they just use the brake. They hold that thing and they just use the brake. And then the brake is like a roller deal. Like forward is the front brake, back is the rear brake or something.
On the foot pedal itself.
On the foot pedal itself.
Yeah.
I sat in Clint Hudkin's sprint car one time and I said, "What is this thing I'm putting my foot on?"
Yeah. Well. With that said, you said in it similar to the chairs we're in, and the
Yep.
pedals are up and down on the floor. They're not.
Right.
They're not forward and backwards towards the firewall. So I mean, yeah, they'd be like we're on these chairs and we're moving our feet on the bar there.
Did the crowd look good to you from the track?
Yeah, I thought that it looked pretty.
It did.
Pretty healthy. So.
One of my problems is, like I told Smalls this week when he called me, from the booth looking down, because I don't get to look up anymore. I'm no longer in victory lane. I'm not out on the track side. Looking down, it's so hard to tell. From upstairs looking down, it's so hard to tell.
I've had that opportunity too, and it does look different from up to down versus down to up.
Oh, I'm getting correct. No in and out box. It's a slider coupler on the rear end, and then the pedal runs both brakes at the same time. Okay. I thought it rolled on there. I don't know why I thought that. I thought
I'm getting juiced. I want to watch
down
racing
on the
right
floor
now,
at any
man.
rate. Last time I checked.
Get the remote and turn Dirt Vision up on the TV over
there. Great interviews for sure.
Yeah, good night. Maybe we'll get we can call Dusty, or one day when we want to talk sprint cars, Dusty or Miles. Maybe call both of them.
Yeah.
So I was getting prepared for this show last night, and my wife was out with her girlfriends. She comes home. I got your show on from Estevan, and she says, "Oh, great. Car's going around in circles again." It's more than that.
It's a lifestyle. Come on. Don't be so mean.
So after the sprint cars, so we've won in order so far. After the sprint cars, the IMSA stock cars took the track, and Brock Beater picked up the win. My brother.
Mm-hmm.
See, you say that so cavalier.
It's getting so it's you don't know how hard it is. Like I'm up there and I'm trying to be the new Brandon, the professional announcer, and everybody, and it is super, super hard, dude. Because I want to be like, yeah.
Ned Jarrett calling Dale.
Yeah, that's what I want, but no. Well. And then it gets really awkward when he is doing good or Max starts doing good, and I have to say the last name, Beater. Beater to the inside, I'm like, what's my damn name? Why am I? Whatever. It sounds like we're doing pretty good, It's fun to watch what he's doing. It's fun to be a first-hand witness of what's going on.
What chassis is that car? Where did it come from?
It's a
21 B&B.
Yep.
And then I can't remember the guy you got it from.
It was Pruitt, Brandon Pruitt.
Yeah.
And that's the same brand as yours?
It's
Adams.
that Dayglow yellow car right up there.
Yep. Up on the poster there.
So that's got to give you some excitement.
Well, yeah. It's just that when the snow melts, everything else needs attention too, kind of like Caden's world.
Right.
I haven't given up, but I haven't been on it much either. it's race day in 2 days again.
he didn't even plan on buying it. I don't know what talked him into buying it. He went down to the Super Nationals and raced a sport mod, and then told me on the way home that I kind of bought a stock car. And I go, kinda, and he goes, well, all it needs is a seat. It's turnkey. All it needs is a seat.
Well, that's not kinda. That's you did. Oh my. Yeah.
So he brought it home, and I had the privilege. He ran it the first weekend. I had the privilege of running it at the Stampede.
Oh, that's right.
That's me in that picture, and that's the same car that he's in right now. Is the same, and the same motor program. That it came with a mid-state. He's still on the mid-state program right now. I think you'd probably have to pry the mid-state out of his car at this point in time.
It's running good, so it is. It's yeah.
But it's just one of them deals, like we talked earlier. It's the right combination of Brock's driving, the car, the motor. When things hit, just enjoy it. Try not to be too cocky. Don't be too high on yourself. I try to not be for him. Just enjoy it, because the lowest of lows are coming sometime.
Well,
it's just the way
Yeah. Well, nonetheless, I would say Brock has had the most success as a driver across all the classes. I mean, like you say, he's 6 in with 6 top 5s. That's solid, even amongst guys that run well, even in other classes. It's a great start to a season. Yep.
And
I would have doing it.
I would have never.
Every once in a while, I see him.
Knowing my brother, and as long as I've raced against him and with him, and I'm the same way, neither of us at any point of our previous racing careers have been bottom feeders, have been bottom racers. We have always figured out the momentum on the banking. We're going to momentum people to death. Mm-hmm. He is now running the damn guardrail or the tires everywhere he's racing.
Whatever it takes.
And I'm just
like, migrates up to the top a little bit. When he went around me and Nodak on the opener, I'm like, hang on, wait for me.
But Gabe DeShaw, the thing we can't not look at right now, it's a tight point battle up there. There's only 1 point between them. So
another B&B car.
Another B&B car. Yeah. So B&Bs are kind of like the rage of the mods. A lot of people are.
Yeah.
Not a lot. Some. Most.
We don't talk. Well, I don't know a lot of chassis talk in the stock cars. So
the B&B deal.
Jorn's chassis, his 2 that he's running are probably more Jorn chassis than they are what they were before.
Well, we got DBI in there,
so they're probably more DBIs than.
Yeah, they're 2012s, and I don't know. People like Mike and I, Hagen and I, we they is what they is. They're small metrics, and we'll race them. And like Mike says, every once in a while, sometimes you just got to get in and drive them. And that's kind of where I'm at. So
you wanted to go back up north, and we're talking stock cars. Kyle Schlope.
Yes.
Yeah, plus 12.
And, if we're using Gabe as our measuring stick, he had a pretty good gap on Gabe by the end.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought, we're kind of Nodak and Estevan here, but Kyle didn't make the invert draw in the heat. I believe he got 7th, but man, whatever adjustment was made, it was the right one because marched her right up to the front there.
See that Schlope family. They're discussing what M&Ms to eat before the feature because they all know what's going on.
Yeah.
Where does he find pink M&Ms though? Because I want some of them.
Yeah. Going by the snaps this week. See, that's Cody's stock car. Cody raced it last year like that.
Yeah.
And Kyle's car wasn't done yet, but Cody on Snap has shown that Kyle's car has been pulled out of the container. So I don't know if Cody's itching to drive his car, but he's got to get Kyle's running first. I'm
just following along on Snapchat.
Yeah. There's puzzle pieces here. So
Keenan, how does he fit there, Glasser?
He would be Chris.
Kyle's kid.
Yeah.
So,
okay, that's how that works.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
that's a talented family right there.
It is. So
born to race.
Yeah. Let's give Estevan its due.
We got to talk about the mods in Minot yet. Pump the brakes.
Oh, okay. Want to do Minot?
Sorry about that.
Jason Walla picked up the modified feature win. He kind of, I don't want to say he Travis Hagened him, but he kind of Travis Hagened him.
That was a great fight. That was a great battle.
Drew Christensen gets out front. Steve Pfeiffer's out front.
It's a nice run going.
That's the thing about Nodak that, You can be leading. You think, I got this. I got Nodak. It's never going to be easy. You're going to get people starting to nail at you.
It's never over till it's over.
I mean, it looked like Steven. Well, it looked like Drew.
Yeah.
It looked like Drew.
Drew had
and
a couple
then I
hundred
started
feet on him.
having some thinking, 1-2, Steven Drew with my fantasy team.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
And then here comes Wall. I'm like, oh, Big Show, you're messing up my mojo.
But he waited till lap traffic. He waited, and then also he started to burn in the top side of 3 and 4, and I think that was the biggest difference. He started to find that top of 3 and 4 and make it work, which was super difficult because there just wasn't the traction up high. But he figured out how to use that momentum around there. That ultimately him being up there got him out of the lap traffic and able to make that move.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it.
Well, really, what made the race was the traffic.
Yep.
Because 1, 2, 3 went 3, 2, 1 and 2, 3, 1, and it was moving all over. Again, early on, even at the halfway point, you're like, Drew's going to tuck and run. He's going to bring this thing home. He's got the gap. He's maintaining the gap, but
You know the worst part about that
traffic
whole
and
race was?
high for a while, low for a while.
I think, pretty sure, the hard charger. Smalls Medler?
Did Smallsy?
Well, but when you don't run a heat race and you start at the back, I'm not giving him credit for that.
You seed yourself. You seed yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you start in the back, you can only go one way.
But he was not. Aaron Turnbull had heat race trouble
Oh.
and went plus 11 up to 4th.
Oh.
Aaron Turnbull was coming at the end. He was
yeah.
on a mission
yeah.
at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not let that go unsaid because Aaron got to the party late, but had there been 2 more laps, Aaron, I believe, was not going to stay in 4th.
Right. He was.
I'm not saying he won it, but 2, 3, 4. Because he showed right up quickly, late.
Yes.
And Hot Sauce had a nice run, too.
He had heat race troubles as well. Had to start tail. I don't know what he had. The car wasn't running right or something in the
I
heat
think
race.
there was something wrong with the tandem pumps. So, my fantasy team's taking a little time to work the kinks out. They're getting ready for a big blast here. So that's how our communication is going anyway. So,
But a great show at Nodak. Mother's Day coming up. There's no better place on earth to take your mom than the Nodak Speedway on a Sunday night, Mother's Day. Tradition.
Forecast is out of sight.
Yes.
90s.
Well, so let's start at 9 o'clock.
Man, I second and approve, if only. Yes.
Did we even get lights? Did you get lights in Estevan? Did they have to come on?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Let's roll up to Estevan. First feature
Yeah.
out, Gabe Deshaw wins the Sport Mods. Had to maneuver his way through traffic, was able to get up there. I think, if I remember right, Rylan Raynard, the 95, got out front and kind of led the early parts.
Okay.
And then Gabe Deshaw found his way by him and picked up the feature win. Didn't have to start too far back. It says he must start a third plus 2.
Plus
so,
2.
Mm-hmm.
Redraw, opening night deal.
Yep. And Robbie Roselli started 11th and only moved up 2.
Yeah.
But good action in the Sport Mods. Kind of they fell into the same boat as Nodak that maybe did this the night before. They had to kind of abruptly change plan with the heat and the weather, the sun and the weather, and had to do some more work to the track at intermission than they originally planned, I think.
And again, not to be overly critical, but I am. That move in that time around raises holy heck with the track prep, or in this case, the sunlight. It's just brutal to race into. I've often said, and I'll pick on both Estevan and Williston, they are not good dry tracks. They're just not. They're awesome wet tracks. As we talked not too long ago, Mandan is a great dry track.
Yep.
It just is.
Yep.
They've got it figured out. You can race into the sun. Everything makes sense. But tracks that are typically wet, that start early and get all off cue, they're not fun.
Estevan's
They're
better
just
when
not
it
fun.
has some moisture.
And the sun's gone.
Yep.
Because just the way the track is configured and the way where the sun's at, we had it the entire run of the stock car feature. So a little sour on me, I know, but because I know how to fix it. Start at regular time. So
Talk
please.
about stock car. Kyle Schultz picked up the win. He went plus 12, hard charger and the win.
He must have had heat-sinking eyes.
Yeah, and and Cody Schultz here says Kyle doesn't like my car. Says it feels like a boat.
Well, yeah, Cody. So I'm saying that you dug stuff out of storage. So Kyle's eager to get back into his car. So Cody, I see you found your shoes too. So footnote, literally. So
the one to watch there was Chris Hortness, I believe, if I remember right. He had some trouble after the heat, and maybe didn't pass tech and had to start tail of the feature. He quickly drove his way up to I thought a top 5, but he ended up 7th. I thought he was going to get further forward than that, but Connor Hansen putting on a heck of a show, rookie, and Grinstead was up there for
Brenner
a little
having
while.
a good run.
Yep.
Hortness, during the mod tour, he rolled it.
Yep.
Junked the thing.
Yep.
Is this his first time out since then?
It is.
Yes.
I was going to make the same comment that he wasn't able to race the rest of the year last year. We communicated a few times over the winter. He said, I'm not real sure where I'm at, on all this here. Maybe it's time to retire. I'm like, you're not old enough.
Oh, no.
You're not old enough. And but at any rate, long story long, Jeremy Istens had a car up there, had raced 2-3 seasons, and was just in a place that he wasn't able to put the time in type of deal, and had a pretty good, what I would call, fire sale price sale on it. At any rate, Chris was able to get it. It's an older Terminator right up Chris's alley, and he's able to put it together and
so that's
return
the
back to racing.
car.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So
because that was a nice price on that thing.
it was had a lot of parts, and
if I would have been in the market for a stock car, I maybe would have gobbled it up.
Yeah, I kind of read it twice and 3 times and wondered what I'd do with the 3 I got. So, exactly. So, but good on Chris for being able to find a car and get back on the track. I know I'm good enough to say that will only improve. So, and it wasn't bad for a first time.
Yeah. In the slingshots, Eli Turnbull picks up his first win at the Estevan Motor Speedway.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool. And I was surprised at that. I mean, I know he's always competitive, of course, at Watford and stuff like that. And
You'd have lost that bet.
I would have.
I think all of us would have.
I would have.
We all would have.
I just didn't know that until I read it. So,
Gunnar Raynard, Hudson Mann, Jay Skirtle. They got a pretty good crew of slingshots up there that's only getting better.
Yeah. The names are all there. So I mean, it wasn't something. It wasn't a soft batch of cookies here. I mean, he had the players. So. Mm-hmm. Good on you,
That
Eli.
set the stage for later in the night, but we will, let's just go right to it. Aaron Turnbull picks up the modified win. He made a late race pass on Cody Schultz.
Cody. Let's talk about it. I mean, Cody got victimized by some yellows, but that's racing, and we talked about it, Nodak. It's always a part of the game and whatnot. I'm going to steal a phrase from Steven after the heat races. Steven and I checked in talking a little bit. He goes, how does Cody drive in the middle? There's nothing there. Of course, reflecting back to last year, Cody, you're a master of that ride in the middle, not only competitively, but more than that. I mean, you make moves on it. So with you, Brandon, there, I'm watching the races, and I'm like, man, Cody's going to be tough. I mean, he started good, and he took off, and he survived, three cautions there. But Aaron just he put it up above what I'll call the high line. He was up on what I call the water truck flat lane that I ain't touching at
where
anything
there
over
was
30 miles an hour.
Enough moisture.
I don't know how he was hanging on, but
and Trevor commented on that he was driving his brother's line.
Well, yeah, and I didn't want to shade on Aaron with the topside terror line, but it might even been a little higher than Tyson's stuff. I mean, I'll call it the water truck lane. I actually had to go take an extra look at it afterwards because I don't know where his right rear wheel was at, but it's actually kind of flat up there in 1 and 2. So where I'm watching, it all made sense, but it banks and then it kind of flattens. So I'll call it the water truck lane, and he's up on that and making tracks and was able to get around Cody. I mean, it was a fantastic race. Man, I know we're out here in northwestern Sasquatch, North Dakota, Estevan area, but man, that was some fast drivers there. Steven getting around good always does. So again, it's like these guys don't take the winter off. I mean, they're fast in the fall, they're fast in the spring. I mean, they're driving what you would think would take 10 nights to kind of get comfortable again, walking the wire, if you will. And Aaron was driving up there like he'd been doing it for the last 30 days. I mean, it was impressive. Great race, Aaron. I mean, it was that good. No shade on you, Cody. You're always you're always the conversation, and you're last year's champion for a reason. So, and this year has just started. Everybody's still in it. So, good work.
Want to reference Sladen?
Yes.
You can't look at the race pass and say, boom, top 5. He looks the part. I like the way he's got that car looking, and it's all in one piece. He's keeping it under him, getting good finishes, getting a lot of seat time, and the speed's there.
Yeah. I made a footnote on that. I'm glad you brought it up like that, because we're close to Steven, and I mean this constructively, of course, but when I see Sladen race, off of what you just said, I see a guy that has to fix race cars. Steven is fully capable of fixing race cars, but Sladen fixes race cars. So, and Steven, I know you can fix race cars. I'm just having some fun with you, but when I see Sladen race, I see a guy that has to fix damage. Therefore, he's not getting in damage. So good on Sladen. Steven, you're still my favorite. So
he's Sladen. There's such a future there. Just be patient. That's my biggest message. Just be patient.
It's under
him. Be patient.
I love it.
It's there.
Yeah.
Just watching him, he led some laps, I think, in the heat race. Was out front for a few laps, and the speed got the better of him, or whatever the inexperience did. But it's coming.
Yeah. Yeah, he's 14 years old. I mean, we watch Keenan have his success and stuff like that. But like you say, from practice day to even now, he's got to be, two nights here, 1 night there. He's 3 nights in. It's staying solid. It isn't getting weird and bouncing off walls or anything like that. It's under him.
Just think
all
about
the
it.
Time.
3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
3 to 5 years.
Bob Mullen, back to Brendan Mullen. He was sharing with me Brendan's path to being where he was on Sunday. Go-karts. First stepped in a sprint car at 14. Sladen's getting into a sport mod at 14. Once you get that, and it just becomes your subconscious, and you're doing it. You don't even know you're doing it.
On a bigger scale, we watch Kyle Larson and RTJ do their thing. It's because they have the feel of the car. I talked earlier, left cheeks, left rear wheel, right cheeks, type of deal. So it doesn't matter what you're in, but once you get that solid you presentation, expectations are high of yourself. We watch Kyle Larson getting everything under the sun, and he's good in everything. RTJ, I see. You're exactly right. I see that in Sladen. Eli's going to have that. We watched Eli in Watford City do what I call finding the line in the corners. As a slingshot driver, I mean, and he comes from a racing family, so I mean his coaching is always going to be right in squares. So, but you're right, Brandon. 5 years from now, I mean, the new Travis Hagens and Aaron Turnbulls and Dalton Flores. I mean,
Travis Hagen, Steve Pfeiffer, Aaron Turnbull, they're going to have their hands full when Gabe DeShaw and Sladen Pfeiffer and some of these younger
Tim Goodwin.
Start moving.
Yeah. Young guys that are,
which is fun to watch.
Young
fun
guys,
to think
new
about.
guys. I mean,
what does Jordan say? The competition never rests.
Yeah, it never does. It never does, and this is proof of it. And you shouldn't either. In my case, I shouldn't either, even if I am a little bit. But I sure am enjoying some new driver stuff. Again, the whole reason of the slingshot class is to make give guys the arena to race amongst people their age, so they don't get chewed out by an adult 30 years older than them, so they can kind of get that going. With that said, also Stephen had a great snap there. He had shown where the slingshot guys, knowing that Sladen was in it last year, and then he's in that sport mod, and they were all over looking at the car and stuff like that. Like the young kid group that they are and do, and it was a pretty cool moment. So it was a cool picture. So. It's tomorrow. It won't be far away.
Hobby Stocks, Diesel Raynard picks up the win up there.
Challenged.
Classic battle.
Yeah.
Between Cash Saxon, Diesel Raynard.
Yeah. we watched Cash put the high line on the boys last year, and again, I don't look. He took the winter off either.
No, just
he
as
was ready
fast
to race.
as he was before.
We were scared that class might be down a little bit because of the other guys moving into stock cars, but I found the hobby stock to be as entertaining as I remember. So
yeah,
so really no gaps there.
There was one heat race that Cash Saxon and Ty Saxon, the 99 and 41 that were side by side, and Diesel Raynard, I believe, is a cousin to the Saxons. Max, can you correct me?
Okay.
Oh, he don't know.
Yeah.
I believe he's a cousin, if I remember right. But the three of them were there, but Cash and Ty, for 6 laps, were 2x2. Just like they started the race. And then at one corner, they switched. And then they went 2x2 again. And it was just, I think Diesel ended up third just because, or maybe second, I can't remember. But it was just one of them heat races that, just crazy. Just how they were able to keep it side by side by side, but just like they started the race.
Yeah, like a bar between them there.
Yep.
I missed the crisscross back and forth there, but yeah. Again, winters are long and cold around here, and you're used to seeing maybe an uncharacterized spin out or something. No, none of that. Good, hard, tight racing like they've been doing it for the last 2 months.
My beautiful bride said, yes, cousins. So I must have got it right.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah,
I didn't know that.
Diesel Raynard, not the start of the year that maybe he wanted at Nodak. Couple tough runs.
I think that's
maybe a little rust on him.
Yeah, I noticed that as well because he was pretty strong last year.
They had some rear end difficulties. They tried to switch to a floater, from what I understood. Put a different rear end in there. Didn't have the feel that Diesel liked. Went back to the older style.
To the drum
rear end. And
we've seen that in some other hobby guys out of state.
At one point last year, hadn't he won like multiple features at Nodak?
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then had some problems a couple nights in a row, but there's some definite speed there. It's still there. Well, I finished second to Kyle or to Caden.
Right.
All right.
Right.
The Reynards. I think in the sport mods there was 2 there as well. Diesel, Riley, like the Schlopes. I'm trying to fit that all together.
Well, I think Rylan and Ryder and Gunner are all cousins to Diesel and Riley. Second cousins? Rylan. Rylan and Ryder are brothers, but they're cousins to Diesel and Riley.
Yeah.
They're not brothers because it's only Diesel and Riley as far as I know.
Same.
I'm glad you're trying to figure it out.
Which we might not know. I've gotten in trouble doing this before, so I got to stop.
Yeah. Can somebody can help us out with a family? Wendy, where you at?
Yeah.
Wendy Raynard, help us out.
Tell us who's who. We think we know. We might be embarrassing ourselves.
We are embarrassing ourselves, just like with the sprint car talk earlier. We are embarrassing ourselves. Well, that wraps up the racing for the weekend. I mean, it was a action-packed weekend, 4 nights of racing.
Yes, 3 nights. Well, yeah.
4 if you include
double up Mandan. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, with that said, we got more racing. Another track opening up.
Yep.
What's next on the rundown?
Fear the Rear making moves. Anybody in your mind making moves this weekend?
I got one.
Go
I'll
for
make
it.
sure you two can't steal it. So
you go first.
Okay. There's a lot of great moments. Brock having a killer season. That's a great moment. But the way Aaron wrote on Facebook about him and Eli both winning the opening day, man, it was factual. It was emotional. It was cool. It was cool. So my fear of the rear is Aaron and Eli putting her together at the Estevan opener. I am proud of those guys. Proud to be their friend and proud of it.
That had to be cool.
Grandpa
going
Ed,
home, they both get the win.
So cool. And not realizing it was Eli's first. And the work Aaron did to seal the deal.
Right. Yep.
It was a fear of the rear.
Yeah, to get it
to
done,
the very
you got to pass
definition.
Cody and you got to pass Steven.
Yeah.
On the outside of the track.
Amen. Great job. So that's my fear of the rear. So I
What do
usually
you got?
don't have one. So
I got one, and I know you won't steal this one. So we have this text thread going on, and
Is it our group that?
Isaac,
Okay.
Jordan,
Yep.
you, and Smalls, and
I'm sure Isaac loves it too, because we get it going. Sometimes.
yeah, and I'm actually stealing this from Isaac because I think Smalls had some preposterous statement like, I really think that I can run with Walla on Sunday night. I think that was a big deal. And you said, wowsy, right? And Isaac chimes in, isn't it funny how when Jordan texts something, you can actually hear him say it, and you can.
Yeah.
And so here's what I got going on. I've been living with this at the store for as long as we've been doing the share a Coke. And one thing that Jordan does that I absolutely love, 40-year racing vet, Hall of Famer, arguably the most recognized racer in the state, in the region. He always says this, and it means so much. Like tonight when we leave, good to see you, friend. He says that, and I'm like, who am I that you say that? And so then I see this, and I hear you saying it. And I love it. I absolutely love it.
So nice.
You're so humble and
caught
so
me completely
kind.
off guard.
Well, that's
I don't think you can take it home because Coke needs it back.
Yeah.
You can have it if you want it. It's yours.
Yeah, it's here, not there.
So I appreciate that. That's what makes you great. Okay, 40 years. How many enemies have you made at the track? You're beloved. People.
Yeah, I bumped into AJ on the weekend, but I went over and made up. He said we were good, and it was an accident for sure. But I don't know. Throughout the years, people have helped me and helped them, and encouragement. I love to just see young people doing good things, and maybe even old guys now and then. So that's very nice, Greg. Very nice.
Making friends.
Making friends. Yeah, making moves. So. Very nice. I did not see that coming. That's nice. We'll continue encouraging and telling it our way. And
yeah. I don't have one, so I never put any
come
thought
on.
to it.
Well, you won't say it, so I will. Brock having a kick butt season.
He's making moves.
So
he's making moves.
And I would take that. But Aaron and Eli got to line up again, and Brock's not done having a good run, so we could save him for another day.
I don't want to jinx it. That's why I don't want to talk about it.
That's fair too. Sometimes that wrecks it.
If anybody, Caden Appelt from Wrecking to Victory Lane the following week, if he can somehow get some consistency, he will be a Nodak champion. Just got to figure it out. As you said, maybe to him. Roll back on the throttle just a hair sometimes, just to
get there in 2 laps instead of 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
he's heard it before.
Yeah, he's heard it plenty of times, but I know that Nodak championship is a goal of his, and
he's fast enough. He needs to have that. He needs to be part of that history. So slow down and pay attention.
Or the other one that I have is Mother Nature making moves. Fear the Rear making moves. Mother Nature giving us beautiful spring weather to go racing.
Wow.
Every farmer in the land's like, could we get any rain? No, we're racing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looked like the weatherman might be changing after this weekend. I hope there's still green grass after this weekend. It's going to be that hot, I think. But, look like it might be wetter than normal and maybe even a little cooler. That'd be all right.
But
that's what I call real racetracks.
Thank you, the Fear the Rear gang, the FTR Racing gang, the Deschamps up in West Hope for supporting the Dirt Weekly, giving us the Fear the Rear making moves segment.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just Gabe making moves, but him going flying all over the place.
Yeah, Gabe and I, of course, I got him on my team, so like he'll come over and say, yeah, that wasn't a real good clean slider, but it was good for the fantasy team. Well, now what? So
I don't know if
we
I
go
like
and have
that
a slushy together, and everything's good. And
next up is the Texas Red upcoming schedule. I got some messages from the old Beebs today.
Ooh.
Jeff Bieber made a comment about maybe joining me in the booth on Friday or Saturday over in Williston. He said maybe
not bringing a car, but bringing him.
He said he's too busy in the field.
Yeah.
So there's no partner for you're doing.
Yeah,
solo?
I think Morgan's over there. I believe
Gotcha.
Morgan's coming back, but Morgan has to go down and do Victory Lane. So maybe we could give him a break instead of running all the way back up to the booth. We could say have a break for one race, and Beebs could sit in with me for one race. But he would have to make it there. He said, he was talking to me today. Yeah, wow. he'll be watching tonight at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. He did comment earlier, and it was well before 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
So do you think the newborn is going to be there?
I don't know. I guess I sent a text out. I was in Williston today for lunch, and I shot a text out, and I didn't get any responses about going to lunch. I sent it to Shotzi and
It's good to
Hagens
get the dirt in the blood right away.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe mix it in the formula just a little bit.
Thought maybe Trav was at home.
Seasonings?
Wasn't in Williston. Didn't get a response back from the old Travster, but he also, Beeb said, tell Jordan that he's got to get a sweet corn in the ground because Texas Red Western Division is getting a big lead on him.
Yeah, well, so I knocked down all the corn stalks and burned them last night. So I am ready for tilling now. So my next big move is tilling.
We're talking racing,
Yeah.
and then you go.
Yeah,
he got excited.
Well, yeah, this is real because Texas Red East right here is. I'm not even tilled yet. And they're probably out of the ground 3 inches. So, but it's not too late. It's only May 7th.
He's got a brand new race car in the shop, and he likes his corn.
Yeah, I can promise you the garden's going to get tilled before the brakes get bled on the new B&B. I'm sorry, Adam. Just the truth.
He sent me a picture from the field today.
Oh, see, that's not my kind of cedar. This is my cedar right here, my hands, my fingers.
Wow.
So, yeah, he ain't wrong. And the satellite has. I got to get them far enough apart. That's my big deal. So I got to get tilled now.
Let's roll the commercial. So the upcoming schedule coming into this weekend is Williston doubleheader.
Yeah,
Williston opening.
Right out of the gate, like we did.
Band Day doubleheader right out of the gate. Yep. Mm-hmm. Friday and Saturday, 7 o'clock both nights.
How's that work for your work?
For my work?
Yeah.
Well, it works out great because I'm taking Friday off for Ray Mock's funeral. I put in a...
We need to touch on that. Yeah.
So I have Friday off. So we'll go to the funeral, and then Jenny and I will pack up, and it's just Jenny and I. So I don't know. We're going without kids.
No kids, huh?
I believe with I just hope nobody jinx it by doing all this. But the high that Brock's kind of riding, I think Max and Peyton they're all going to Mandan with Brock on Friday night. So let's not jinx what's going on by everybody trying to jump on the bandwagon, please.
Okay. Duh. I'm not paying attention here, am I? Right.
But so you got the Williston doubleheader. It'll be Jenny and I over there. I'm back on the mic over there for the second year in a row. Mm-hmm. Chris Morkin, as far as I know, is joining me. I was told he was joining me. I was trying to find his phone number. I, for whatever reason, don't have it in my phone. I'll get it and reach out to him beforehand. And
Travis has shared that the track prep is going all the right direction, looking nice.
Yep,
so.
I tried to sneak in there. There was no way to get in and go look at it today. I was over there before I left town. I couldn't get through the gate to get in there, but it looked good from the outside when I stood up on the edge of the pickup. Everything looked good. They got everything in place. Storbakkens are prepping the racetrack. And you seen that they put out a map today of kind of the flow of traffic through the pit. Did you see that on Facebook?
I didn't catch that yet. I saw Jason had a little snap of them working the track, but I had not caught the map of the pits. So
Dalton is running and Joe?
Yep, as far as I know. And then, well, that's the best part. I was going to try to get a picture of it, or a Snapchat of it. When I left the track, I went out the back way, back across the river or whatever, little muddy.
Yeah, you go by their shop.
When you take that left, you go by the Flory shop. Joe was out at, I don't know what time it was, 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock. Joe was out mowing the lawn on the lawn tractor. And I was going to try to get a Snapchat of it, but...
Making moves on the mower.
John and John Jr. here Sunday.
Yep. That was refreshing and welcoming.
Yeah, that was cool. Yep.
Yeah. Letting it up a little bit. Looking pretty good.
I've had a talk with it would be John Jr.'s father-in-law. Jetler is their son that passed away this winter, and Grandpa on the mom's side reached out to me and asked the Jetler Flory is sponsoring the A-Mods all year long.
Oh.
It's the Jetler Flory IMCA Modifieds over there. And there was a song that specifically Jetler like to dance to or shake to, and that's going to be the lineup intro song all summer long for the modified. So
that'll be touching and that'll be good. So
it's pretty cool deal. I like doing stuff like that. I love being a part of it and getting to do things like that. So yeah, things are in place. I'm excited to go back over there. Unfortunately, we have Ray Mock's funeral. We didn't touch on that at all. We did a moment of silence on Sunday. Ray Mock, big
race guy. Just a big guy in all of our lives.
I had the opportunity, like I think most of us did, to run into him one time at the car show here just
a month ago here. Mm-hmm.
He was riding around on a scooter, came over and kind of poked me in the back, gave me some grief. I think I was on live. If we go back in the video, my video archives, I think I was live doing an interview, and he was kind of just poking at me a little bit, like Ray does.
Yeah, Ray does. Down to practice day and stuff like that. That was the last time that I'd communicated with him. But, always ready to have the good conversation, and it was. We knew he was sick, but nonetheless, it seemed to have went awful fast. Bigger than life down there at the track, and Nodak, been involved for decades, so it'll be a busy place on Friday.
Yes, it will. He touched a lot of people, so we'll have that in the morning. I think 11 o'clock. Hopefully, everybody comes and pays their respect. Jenny and I will be there. Thoughts go out to the Mock and Huber family, the Mock family losing Ray, and then Carlene and them guys lost their daughter here not too long ago, Amanda. So just kind of tough on the Mock family, and we're thinking of you, and we'll be there to see you on Friday. So kind of a nothing good, but then we get to pack up and go to Williston. Excited about it.
Yeah,
getting another track going and stay in a hotel, and double headers. I just like them because I get to relax a little bit more. I don't get to relax if we do single nights. Like if this if this was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal, I'd drive to Estevan on Friday, drive all the way home in the middle of the night.
You do that.
I do that.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, see, man, I don't.
I do too.
Oh boy.
Well, so you take last weekend. I missed the boat, or I missed the train to go down. I had to work on Friday. I missed the train, so I cruised down there myself. I came home and whatever, got some stuff, and then drove down all by myself. And in the middle of the night, I followed Brock all the way back up, getting home at, what time did we get home?
Yeah.
1 in the morning?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All of 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
Just to go to sleep, and then we met for breakfast at 8:30 at Kroll's, because that's kind of our little thing on Saturday mornings we go do, and Brock
made the decision
and let us know what he was doing, and then I go pack up and get stuff ready. Jenny, we come over here, we get Max loaded, we take off to Estevan, get home at all of 1 in the morning again from Estevan.
Yeah.
Smalls was talking about a Tuchshire Smalls breakfast meeting
I don't think it ever happened.
Yeah, he was talking about that. Yeah.
But Tuchshire was there on Saturday morning.
Tuchshire had a good Sunday night.
Yeah, kind of rebounded big time from his
Yes.
previous weekend there, so. Mm-hmm.
So, but the doubleheader, we get to get up in the morning. In years past, we've always went and done stuff. There's some sights and seas, and we went down to the Bieber farm. Maybe we'll throw Jordan in. You can go down to the Bieber farm with us.
Yeah. I better if I don't till tomorrow, I'm not tilling until after Sunday.
Because you're not coming all the way home Friday night, are you?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
The green machine is running smooth.
Got to Estevan and back. No surprises.
No surprises.
1 weekend down, 20 to go.
Jordan, it's probably not something I should ask you. It's not comfortable, but your sidekick has been with you for decades.
Yeah.
Are you traveling alone or?
Well. With that said, publicly announced, my dad's got some health challenges for sure, and like you say, he'd been riding with forever. With that said, he is. We got him at home, doing everything we can. He's had his kidneys have failed, so he's on dialysis and stuff like that. So, but we're making the best of it. He still has a sense of humor and stuff like that. But doing that 3 times a week, it certainly is a lifestyle change. The green machine is fun, but I don't know if it's fun if you, if you're not feeling great all the time, type of deal. So with that said, we got it all set up on Darn TV and stuff like that there. So he's been able to watch it from the couch, if you will, which is really losing the touch and go effect of the green machine.
But another benefit of Darn TV, did you get a new camera? Because it just looks like the hand of God is giving me.
We did not. We upgraded some stuff on the back end to get us that full 4K effect. The camera's been a 4K camera. We upgraded some other stuff on the back end. There's always it's no different. I don't care what it is. Your race car, Stevens, whatever race car out there, broadcasting is the same way. There's always money to be spent. There's always money to be spent. There's always an upgrade this or an upgrade that or an upgrade, and it's no different. I really feel that it's no different than racing because it's $2,000 here, $1,000 here, $500 there, $5,000 here. It's never ending. One thing after another, but we actually got, I'm going to be real with you, super, super lucky that I made it through Sunday night because I had an equipment failure Sunday night, and I was crossing my fingers and my toes were crossed that we would make it through the broadcast before it failed. And we made it, and actually I shut it down, and I'm like, whew. And now I had to regroup Monday and get with my tech guys and fix it. So
fixed and ready?
Jenny says it's the camera operator, and she knows what she's doing. She is not wrong. She is not wrong. She is absolutely right.
Another setup.
There was it was in the stock cars, and there was a skirmish going into 1 and 2, and she zoomed in there, man, and I felt like I was living it.
Was that in Estevan? Or
yeah.
What? Yep.
I think Swanson might have dumped it there, and man, you zoomed in, and it was just crystal.
You felt a crinkled fender.
That's I don't like replacing the expensive parts. The camera is the expensive part, and I'm going on year 3. Knock on wood. But no, it's so much fun. Like I have fun. I wish I could race more or do stuff with Max more, and I do get to hang out. But I ended up being race director up in Estevan and do the race receiver stuff, and because they were short on help that night, and I don't care. I'll jump in and do it.
Yeah.
Yes, you will.
Yeah.
But
you say so and you do so.
But to go like this weekend or like even at Nodak with having Jenny on the camera and me up there, it's such a good bonding experience. We'll call it what it is or whatever. We were able to work together so much or work together so well, and it'll be no different.
Yeah. Yeah.
She goes, she thought she was the expensive part of Darn TV. Well, honey, you are.
Yeah, the setups don't stop. I've been in your guys' conversation. Right.
It's a lot of fun. We'll be in just the two of us. Well, and then we're at a stage of our life that's kind of fun. We get to go do things alone, I said, are we staying at the normal cheapo motel when we have the kids with, or are we going to get a little better hotel? She goes, it's only you and I. We're getting the better hotel.
Sorry, kids, not sorry.
Well, normally we go, like, what it's been the last few years since the kids have gotten older is we go to the cheaper hotel and get 2 rooms. The girls go in one room and the boys in the other room. That way, 2 bathrooms, 2 everything, and it's just a lot easier.
It makes sense if you know. I know.
Oh, Brandon, come over Saturday instead of relaxing, and you can run the corn planter while I relax. Jeff Bieber.
Jeff, yeah.
But also coming up this weekend, Friday, Mandan, Dakota Speedway. Mm-hmm. This will be night number 4 for them.
4 for them. Mm-hmm.
Complete opposite of last year.
Yeah,
last year
they
couldn't get in a race. This year they're getting them all in.
Got them all in. Yeah.
Haven't seen the doll stock car yet.
No, and I know nothing. I haven't had a chance to even so much as say hi to Mark, so I don't know what's going on there.
Marlon's trying to turn around some DNFs. I think he's DNF'd 2 or 3 in a row in the stock cars. I think maybe DNF'd every night so far.
Tukshire, Seidler, Strand, Wilby Doll doing the double duty thing. Why would you want to do that?
when you're 25, it's cool. I'm not sure after that.
But Marlon's not.
Yeah. Like I said, yeah. Other than being young, yeah.
Is it a lot?
Well, Tim was right on it. The hours you can spend on a race car. Well, you do two. It's two.
So I don't think it's the driving part that's a lot. I really don't. I think if you were to ask my brother or ask the guys that did double duty like yourself, it's mostly probably the in between rush of everything, because you're in one car, and then unless you have a good group of guys that's willing to jump in and take care of it, you're in one car. You're trying to give feedback or figure out what you need to do to be faster than that one. You're in the other one. You're going out on the track. You're coming back, and then depending on what order of the events are, you're almost, you don't have time to work on one or the other. You're neglecting something.
Yeah.
I think that would be the hardest part from when I talk to people.
Your presentation is never going to be perfect.
Right.
But like Tim says, it ain't anyway. Then you spread it across two cars.
Yeah.
So you're really hitting the highest of spots. So, but nonetheless, there can be a reward there. I mean, we're watching Gabe do it, and I certainly had similar reward. I mean, I did it because I was good in one and I was good in two, but
I think your momentum can carry over from one to the other.
Yeah. You're just getting that much more time on a given track and a given night. So, like I say, it was funner when I was younger. The hard work was never a problem. Life let me do it, but now it's been everything I could do to squeeze an oil change in. I mean, it's already oil change time, and that's about all I'm getting done here. Mounted up a couple of tires and Sunday ready. So.
Part of it, they want to do it.
Yeah.
They want to put the time in.
Self-inflicted.
But now Sean made a comment to us, I was talking to him, that he's only double duting it on double headers. Like normal weeks, you won't see a stock car there this week.
And he wasn't there opening night with it.
Correct.
Yeah. So
he brought it down because it was a 2-day show, and he could kind of jump.
Set up camp.
Yep.
And he has a couple of guys that are great helps. So he had referenced that a little bit at the banquet last year in Mandan too. So
Jeff Bieber said we can put Jordan to work planting soybeans.
Well, I got to plant east too. So, but yeah, if we come over, we might as well do something. So, we got to be back by about 5, I suppose, and get ready for racing. So, is
there anywhere else on Saturdays? Williston, the only show in town on Saturday. We got Devil's Lake Speedway. Should be on night 2. We didn't even touch on Devil's Lake. Miles Tomlinson won the
he put together
the Western Renegades.
Win.
They're going back over there again next weekend. Unfortunately, not able to. I can't split up my time anymore. I've taken on. I can't say no. I take on too many roles at racetracks, and unfortunately, I have nobody to go over to Devil's Lake and cover it. So,
as we speak, never know. Somebody might come along, but not today.
So Chad Hoff, mine at Grand Forks. Now he's in Dickinson.
Yep.
Is he involved in the track out there?
That I don't know. I got to give Chad a call. I wanted to touch base with him and see where he's at on all that, because having Chad in the area is definitely a utilization that needs to happen.
That's a move. Grand Forks to Dickinson.
Yeah. That's a lifestyle change. Northeast, southwest. Yeah. Banging around. When does Dickinson start? I mean,
I'd have to look it up again. I don't know if it's this weekend or not.
We're a couple of Thursdays away yet for Underwood, May 22nd. So, again, the months go by fast. So,
Southwest Speedway.
It might be the same weekend.
May 24th.
Yeah, same weekend, yep. It'll be on Saturday that weekend then. Yeah.
Yep. You guys are the 22nd.
Yep. Yeah. And I would imagine Williston, it would be about their turn then to be on the 24th.
They're not this year. Remember, they're double headers.
Yeah. Okay.
So they do the double header band day, then
Nothing
they do
the
Tough of the
24th?
Dirt Tour, then they go to the fair.
Okay. No Estevan or anything on the 24th? Just Brad?
I got a calendar around here somewhere.
That seems like something's left on the table if there's a Saturday during the summer and nothing's going.
Yeah, but I remember a couple of them in the past, too. There was one time Max picked up his first feature win down in Dickinson, his very first one. It was a weird Saturday that nothing lined up, and we went down to Dickinson. I went down to broadcast. Max went down to race.
Jordan, you're going to be shaking. You're like,
yeah. God, I could have a mild stroke.
Corey Palm said it was a good first night for the Western Renegades. That's a good deal. I seen Corey down in Mandan. Mm-hmm. He was up in the stands cheering on. I'm not sure who he was cheering on, but he's cheering on somebody. And then Darcy from Dickinson. We have monster trucks this weekend.
Darcy Dennis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Rick Huber says Thunder Mountain. Is that this weekend, Botno? I'm not very good at this. Thunder Mountain's the 24th. We're a little ways away from that stuff yet.
Still another week. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
It's going to start taking off when we get right to that Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. Kids are out of school. Be graduation weekend on top of it. So, heck yeah.
Should we roll his other one? Give him two hits tonight.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know if Trent has all this.
There's your
I'm not be tilled by this conversation. Busters.
Heading up to Estevan for the mod tour. The fields couldn't have been more beautiful. The canola.
Fluorescent yellow.
It's insane. It's like, what is this?
It's cool. It's cool and it's not.
Now it's what everybody's been waiting for.
Why not?
Are you ready
not
for
all
it?
of us.
You haven't been waiting for this? Oh, I suppose when I sent it out yesterday, they were like, I don't want this crap.
Well,
Small's checking in. You guys are still talking?
Listen to the kettle calling the pot black. Yeah. 10-4. Yes, sir. Yes.
Well, you're just in time, Smalls. We're going to the fantasy.
He checked in just in time because he's got Caden. And then he got the big show.
Smalls, you've been replaced by this red sign that says friend.
Yeah. Or dude on the other side.
Yeah, and Smalls, you missed the treat segment.
Yeah. Well, you haven't missed it yet, but you're going to because there'll be none left for you and we're done. I see 3 with my name on it, and there's only 6. So
To the fantasy, Hot Sauce Fantasy. Here it is.
I'm not what I used to be.
Here it is.
Yeah.
7. Craig's still leading with 857.
He's in a different, not just zip code, but he's in a different time zone.
He's only got 2 drivers that aren't even in the 100-point range, not including
That's how I looked at
compact.
it. And I only have 2 that are. Well, actually, I think I got 3, but I keep bumping that.
You're good. And then, you got 3 that are in the 100-point range.
Yeah. I got.
You look at me, I only have 2, but I'm a little bit more consistent.
Yeah. I got a couple of absentees yet, but they're coming back.
You got to talk to Cole and say, quit wrecking that pretty car.
I did, and he smiles. But right now he's broke, so we got to get him back up and going. But yeah, I know. Now Cole doesn't stop. So
the way I see it is, I got 2 hobby stocks that are being consistent. They both have me in the 90s, which looking at everybody else's stuff is, kind of right where you need to be. Glad I don't have a 45 like you.
Yeah.
And Trevor Haas gave me way more than Trevor Haas things last week. Or actually, it was like, finishing second was like an anomaly here. So I got to take it when I get
Running
it.
There's one thing. Closing it is the other. And
did. That was a good pick.
Yeah.
He's been running great.
Max, if we can just get him to keep his head on straight, he broke a tie rod. He hit the inside fence. Guardrail down in turn 2, when the wraps around the guardrail, he cut it too short around there. And
that's what I was scared of on the new possum hole. Yep. I was going to get into that concrete.
And he caught it and broke a tie rod and come around and then ended up taking out
I can do the hot sauce line, and that would become an abutment.
Yeah.
So,
I think we missed out on an opportunity. We could have had sprints. We could have picked someone from the sprints.
We talked about it, but we needed some sort of pre-registration list because I would have not had a clue.
Nor would I, other than Dobmeyer.
Yeah. Yeah,
I probably
that was the only name I
probably would have still picked Thomas Kennedy. And I don't even know when the last time he raced.
Yeah. I was looking for his car. I thought it might have been that blue 50.
Oh, you guys didn't know about Jade Hastings? I'd have jumped all over Jade.
Yeah. Jade, if you're still listening, he's lying. Congratulations just the same. So, yeah. But no, on the fantasy deal, I mean, I got my 3 solids. I got Robbie, I got Marcus, and I got Gabe.
Yep.
Yeah, and then my absentees, I'm hoping Jason Ruby there kind of, starts feeling guilty here pretty soon and drags the car out. Other than that, I'm okay. I mean, Brooklyn, we had a softball game yesterday out at Nedrose. She was playing. I didn't get a chance to corner her and see if she's running yet. But with that said, Lily Christensen was also there because friends with my youngest daughter, Macy, and wrestle together type of deal. But she says that they don't race again until Memorial Weekend.
They do not.
What the heck?
You got time.
Well, I don't need time now. I need performance.
So what if Katie hops in the Ruby machine? Does that count?
Well, I think I'm in trouble because I tried that card last year, and then they didn't like me leading, so then things got weird. So I don't know. I don't know. I might be far enough behind. I might get a mulligan thrown at me, but I'm only 2 ahead of Smallsy, and you guys are up in the 800s and moving.
Well, I'm still. Craig's got a 70-point lead on me.
Yeah. Well, that means 170 on me. Like you say, all his.
And your brother's doing the heavy lifting
for you.
Yeah.
Man,
he told us something, but he didn't tell you. And then we were snickering like, no.
Taylor Stenvold's having a nice year.
Yes.
One, two.
There you go. That's a perfect example of a driver sitting in a car, comfortability, switching to that Razor, working well with the engine, the whole thing. It's more than just one thing. It's the whole package has to come together. And if you just feel good, it changes your outcome.
Painting it black.
No doubt about it. In fact, it gets so good that even you don't understand it. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I love the results, but I don't know what I'm doing different, because you'll tell yourself, I've tried way harder and did way worse.
Right.
And Here I am kind of just half paying attention, and things are rolling along. I don't dare pay attention anymore because I know what happens when I do that. It gets worse.
I think one thing that Taylor, he was always fast.
Always in the game.
It's the finish. And this year he's hitting the marks and finishing. And my other fella, Mr. Strachan, I think he's getting tired of seeing his butt fall on him around.
He's trying to sell a car, so.
That's the old car, I believe.
Yeah.
I think if we would have all did some power rankings of each class going into Nodak, we all would have put Gabe number 1. And there would have probably been a big difference between Gabe 1 and then the 2, 3, 4, 5. But what we're understanding now is it's settled on the racetrack. Not in fantasy, not in your thoughts. And these guys are giving it to Gabe.
Yeah.
Robbie, Chad, Taylor, they're giving him everything that he can handle.
Mm-hmm. Right. They're not resting.
They're going to work.
That's what this game is.
And it only makes Gabe better because Gabe's going to go to work. And it just.
I've gotten to know him better than ever, and I mean, he's the same young person that they are too, just doing his thing, and he'll keep searching too. I mean,
Tim Goodwin.
Yeah.
None of us picked him because his car was sitting on fantasy night with no motor in it.
With no heads on it or something like that, Brandon was saying, so we scared back. But
I
again,
think
we're 30% in.
If you look at the sport mods, other than Jordan's Cole Handshoe, bent fast.
Yeah, bent fast.
We're all right there. I mean,
100-point swing is going to be hard to move.
Yeah, you're going to be
without absenteeism. So
I think Craig has the most consistent team that's going to be there.
Yeah,
you and I are definitely. Yeah, you and I are.
You and I could crisscross. We could put a few sliders on, but each other.
Just like I keep talking about Quentin Kinsley, Drew Christensen, on any given night, he can run with the boys.
Really, that A-mod feature was fear the rear stuff too, because Drew is capable of having that night, and he was having it. I mean, everything was going right.
But the problem is when you're leading, Walla, he's looking, he's thinking, okay, he's going there, I'm going to go here.
They're always watching you. You don't know what you don't get to watch them till they're beside you.
If you can have the mindset when you're out on the racetrack, you're running third. If you can be okay with finishing third, but you're going to try different things, that's the best mindset to have.
Yeah.
I'm not going to run where you're running. I'm going to go up here into no man's land. And if it works, awesome. If it doesn't, I'm okay with third.
Because you can put it in the storage bank for later.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what Travis Hagen does. That's what Jason Walla does. Steve Pfeiffer. And unfortunately, that just makes that leader out there, Drew Christensen, a sitting duck.
More vulnerable.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I think, as I say with Travis, he does it at speed anyway. But if you give him a yellow, oh boy, because now you give him, you slow him down, and now he can really think it out. He is anyway, but yeah, like you say, Jason, Aaron, Steven, Cody. Again, you give them yellows, and if they're not leading, and you are, they know exactly what you're doing, and you're trying to figure out what you think they're going to do to you. So, fantasy, like I say, you're
going to get some. You got a big boost from Isaac. Isaac jumped up pretty good this weekend. Got you some points. You had pretty rough outings right away.
My stock car, my crew chief Adam, he's got a cool sticker made, so I don't know if that's going to grow by 8 or 9, so everybody gets one. But we're having fun with this fantasy deal, and well, to reflect back on Gabe, one of his proudest, accomplishments, as his mom says, was he's on the fantasy team. He was last year, but he's on mine this year, so I like that. So we're having fun with it for sure. We the majority of my team is within 3 or 4 cars of me, so we're always throwing out fantasy willpower, if you will. So keep everybody going. But Marcus and Isaac are solid, and Marcus having, again, solid runs, and he's looking for maybe to improve, but I think he's my lead ship. Well, him and Gabe there, but yeah, so like I say, we're only 30% in. If we don't rain out, Will
Shareski.
We'll get more. Mm-hmm.
That was a great battle. The stock car in Minot. Will, Gabe, Brock. That was fun.
Well, at one point I was sitting there watching your 2 stock cars up front. Didn't they finish 1-2?
I think Gabe got second. Will got third.
Very well could have. I can't. It's
You got Will and Brock?
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It all runs together.
It's sometimes hard to remember what track you're talking about already. We're only 2
clean
weeks
racing, man. They were just slicing and dicing it.
I couldn't remember what my thought process was. I was sitting there at one point in time going, that goddamn Craig.
No kidding.
Is got Brock and Will, and then he's got Drew and Steven running 1-2. I about threw my sucker in the dirt and said, I'm not playing fantasy no more.
I know.
And then when Taylor won,
you had Chad second.
Yeah. Karen's saying that's wash night for the Slado machine.
I'm getting it right now. Yep. Like I say, I know who's fixing stuff. So, yeah, we're getting the lights and everything. Yeah.
Will was actually 4th. Chris Tuchscher was up in there. Tuchscher and Gabe.
Yeah, Tuchscher had a good night.
And we go back to that a little bit, and Brock and I kind of discussed it. Brock was a sitting duck out front. He got to the lead on the bottom, but as that race went along, the bottom was going away. I think a few more laps.
Chris was coming
on the outside. He had figured out 1 and 2 to get that run. Where he was going to struggle is 3 and 4. What was he going to do? Because there just wasn't enough up there for a stock car. But 1 and 2 had that grip around the top that you could and just launch down the back straightaway.
From the point of view of being in a stock car, we knew that we were going to go out after the sprint cars, and I couldn't help but think it was going to just be blown away because, in fact, a little unsure if there wouldn't be a change of and do a track prep. But once we were sure that it wasn't, I tightened up accordingly. I was on the outside. I thought I could carry some momentum out there, but literally on the first lap, about 6-8 of them went up the inside, and I was in double digits before I completed a lap. So I hung there the rest of the time. So next time.
Yeah. What else you guys got?
Yeah.
Well, we got to do maybe a twist somehow to the fantasy to keep it fresh. Isaac was going to open up maybe picking up a free agent.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, Tim Goodwin's out there.
Yeah.
Heaton.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's good stuff out there because in fantasy, you can go to the free agent wire and try and beef up your team.
Well, I shouldn't say because I don't know. but that sounds possibly logical. And you say, Brandon, Craig's got such a run rip in here.
And then there's also the hooker that's planning on coming out there.
Yeah, interesting. Do we have any updates on that?
He was in the store. I was chatting with him a little bit about it, and it was supposed to. Well, the night it was so cold, he thought we were going to cancel Smalls. He thought maybe they were going to cancel. He was like, "That's good," because he's not ready.
Buy him a night. Yeah, we're 2 weekends in now, 3 shows in, so.
We haven't seen a Tyson or an Ed yet.
Mm-hmm. We didn't have Tyson on the opener there either.
Yeah, I don't know. The commish would have to do some work on the old rule writing to figure out if your points carry with you or if you'd have to absorb all their points or how that would work.
Yeah, that's an interesting deal.
Because if you're sitting with what's crazy is old Mr. President, you should be in the 4th chair here, Justin Medler. He's 3rd in points right now.
Wow.
In the modifieds. With 98 points. That would take, if I put that back up here real quick or whatever, you throw a 98 in the mod side of things. Who do I got? Well, he'd fit right in, I guess, with everybody else. But
yeah,
he's running good.
3rd in points.
Well, 98, he's 3rd in points. He's better than both
We
mine.
got to pump the brakes. There can't be this too much Smalls praise in one night.
Well, he checked in once. He didn't come blasting through the door yet, so.
Yep.
Well, all I can say is Isaac's on my team, so whatever he comes up with.
So, do we have any classes coming, like that Outlaw Late Model deal? Start doing our thinking and pick one of them.
Well, yeah, start watching Dirt Vision.
I don't have time to watch us.
Do we have any other classes coming? Is there any legend shows or anything?
Well, you'll have the Tougher Than Dirt Tour. I think that's the next big one. I don't know.
We talked about doing that as a standalone.
Yep.
And then as the points are, that would be our draw.
You'll have the edge though. You'll know who's coming and who ain't from out of state. Like a Bombardo this year or anything, or
I don't know who's coming.
Yeah, look at that smile. See, we can't play that game because he's holding all the eggs.
Well, not necessarily his own brother did.
Yeah. I got snookered by my own brother.
Yeah. Well, we went out of our way to look for information, and well, golly, don't count on me. Jesus. Yeah. Okay, Mr. 9-cylinder. I haven't missed a race. Oh my, so. Right.
And Mr. Counting races now to see how many nights he's going to have on the motor or have on the car by the time it gets to the mod tour. And
well, keep the air cleaner clean, and it'll go past whatever dates we're thinking. Well, he ain't gearing the thing to death either, so that helps. That helps a bunch. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to get the commission involved if we're going to change it up. But the Tougher Than Dirt Tour, I should have put out the pre. I built the pre-entry thing last week. I should have had it out already. I'll put it out in the morning, and we'll start rolling in some pre-entries to that. And
all I'll say on my fantasy is I have never paid to take a second draw. I won't give up on my team. They're coming around. They're coming around. Might have to give a few of you guys a flat tire, but my team is coming around. They'll be back.
Well, we made it 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I see it's getting dark out, so I'm thinking
that was really fun talking to those guys.
Oh, I think that's added so much, this phone call stuff. I mean, it'd be even cooler if we could throw video up, but I think it's added so much.
You were like producing before the show.
Right. Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, you can just really hear in their voice when they're talking how passionate they are about what they do.
Yeah. I agree with you.
I never know how many to do. How many should we do every week? Should we do a couple, 3? We'll just kind of leave it floating.
Yeah. I'd say 2's probably a decent number.
The nice part about, because we used to bring them in every once in a while, have them come in, but then they had to take time out of their night. And this deal here, we only took 15, 20 minutes of their evening.
I think they're probably more real on the phone than if they're sitting here because, this is weird.
Yeah.
and then it's uncomfortable, where they're probably in their shop, sitting in their car. That's my vision of where you guys live.
Doing
when
vroom
they're
vroom
racing.
sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Underneath it, cussing and swearing, cutting something out of there, and the sparks are getting all over us.
No, I'm actually, I'm kind of thinking that I'm taking this too serious, so we might have to do something. If I'm prepping before the show and not during the show, we got problems, because I had all the graphics done.
We got problems. We got problems. No, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to prep the car before you get to the track.
I enjoyed that when now on the phone. Jay Hastings, Caden Appill.
If I could just keep up with it, I kind of got behind on it or whatever. But yeah,
you get what you pay for here. Why do you get a lot more than what you pay for here?
I'm pretty sure the boss doesn't watch this. But he called me earlier, right in the middle of me making them graphics at work, and he's like, "What do you got going on today?" "Oh, nothing. Everything's going good.
Can you see my screen, like the guy that fixes my computer? Because I'm in trouble. You're moving my mouse. Yikes.
Yeah. Oh well.
Just the facts, ma'am. It is.
Yeah. But I guess we'll call it a show. Next Wednesday, 7 o'clock. We're trying to keep on this.
Hey, we started 7:06. That's just about on time.
We're getting closer.
Wow.
If I told you guys next Wednesday at 6:50, what time would you show up? 6:51?
45. I was here at 6:58, I think.
I was already streaming when you got here, so that way when you sat down, I could play the intro and go.
I thought we were waiting for Smallsy. I went out and looked at the hobby stock on my way in. I didn't know you were waiting for me, so I didn't see Smallsy's pickup, so I thought I was not last.
He said he just left the track and went home instead of coming up here.
Part-timer.
More. What do we have in there? Cookie brownies?
Let's eat some here. Let's, well,
I'll carry you, Smallsy. I'll carry you.
We'll call it a show. For
all righty, guys.
For Jorn, for Craig, I'm Brandon, and our friend that made it tonight.
Yeah. That was nice.
He's got more personality than Smalls.
He does. Easier on the eyes too.
I didn't say anything, Smallsy.
We love him.
I've seen you jack guys off the track, so I'm still good. See you next Wednesday.
See you next Wednesday, 7 o'clock.